Ba-da-ba-da-ba-ba-da. Oh my goodness. Well, we are live, and we're going to start our live the same way we start every live, talking about Sunday Men's League.
Oh, are we? Oh no.
Oh boy.
All right,
Well, we
Flex.
won today, so worth talking about.
We did win today. Tell them what we did.
We won 22-4. I started again. I threw 5 innings, 3 runs, went 1 for 3 at the plate with 2 RBIs and a single. And Ryan had a much better day.
I was 3 for 3 with 2 doubles, a single, and 5 ribbies. So not a bad day in the on the men's league field or men's
The
league
real
front this
question
week.
is, Ryan, are you expecting your name to be called tonight?
Yes, I am expecting my name to be called sometime tonight. 30-year-old Ryan Mallinger out of the Denver Men's League 25A NABA. They're going to have to buy my contract as well.
Where would you like them to say, like if you got drafted today, where would you like them to say you are being drafted out of?
You know, I told you it'd be Denver Men's League NABA 25 Denver Jays. There would be no place that I'm from. It would just be the dude out of the men's league.
I think I'd like them to go with my high school. Just act as if I never went to just call me a high schooler. At 30 years old out of high school, the real Billy Madison situation.
Prep outfielder pitcher.
Just
How are
now
you
learning to
drafted?
pitch, throwing an 80-mile-an-hour fastball on a good day.
I would
Oh,
want
boy.
I would want ETSU, but I want them to say the East Tennessee State University.
Oh, I love that.
I
love that.
saw a guy at the park in Denver the other day, wearing an ETSU shirt, and I almost stopped him to ask if he was aware of how great the ETSU Bucks baseball team was, or if he was just a poser.
Saying an ETSU thing is wild. I'd never see ETSU gear in Nashville. That's 4 hours away.
That's because you
We-
only see Vanderbilt gear.
I
No, I
also
only see Tennessee gear.
Well, that's true. That's just
I
people trying to
also
make
have
other people
seen-
mad, though.
I also have seen people wearing ETSU stuff out here, which is really funny. So
Yeah, but you
always
know
just
what? Colorado-
It's always the E logo.
Colorado, for us having grown up in the DMV and that truly being like the world's melting pot, Colorado might be a close second. Like, there's not a lot of diversity in a lot of spaces, but if you're talking about a melting pot of people from different states, they're all the same white person. But if you want to talk about the melting pot of people coming from different states, it is absolutely.
All right,
It
so
is
we're gonna turn this live stream back to baseball now that
Oh,
we're talking
First-
talking about
first
how
question-
transient of a city Denver is.
First question in the chat from Andrew. What's the official prediction for Seattle at number 3? I know who I like.
I think when Seth Hernandez is taken by the Mariners, we're all gonna hate watching him be the best
Yep.
right-handed pitcher in baseball for X amount of years. Is a good possibility if they get their hands on him.
I think Holiday, if he's there, if he's not, Arquette.
Ooh, okay. You think they're going bad? I like that. Flax.
I'm on the same train as you. I think if Seth Hernandez is still there, they take Hernandez. I think there's no way they don't.
I think it should be Hernandez. I don't think it will be Hernandez.
That's fair.
Yeah. I think
Listen,
every
they
person-
have a history of being able to develop pitching, and if there
I
was
think every team in
anybody,
this draft should take Seth Hernandez if he's there.
oh yeah, well, if there wasn't the right-handed prep arm curse, I think that we'd be talking about him more at 1, if I'm being totally honest. But we're not, because right-handed prep pitchers are very, very hard to translate into major league success. It's
Can I-
statistically the hardest.
Can I say something that's maybe a little bit against the grain as far
Of
as
course you can.
drafting players goes?
Of course.
If I'm drafting a pitcher high, I'm drafting them with the intention to get an absolute haul for them as a trade piece in 5 years. Name me a World Series team in the last 10 years whose centerpiece arm was a guy that was homegrown.
Washington Nationals 2019. Steven Strasburg was the best pitcher on the planet.
Okay. How about all the other years? And
You
how
just
about
asked me
all
to
the
name
other
one.
and how about all the other pitchers on the team? I'm not
You just
saying
asked
this in
me-
a bad way. Like, go ahead and draft your pitcher, but like the pitcher you draft is not the pitcher that's taking you to the promised land.
Wasn't
Maybe
the
you could
Braves
say Clayton
entire
Kershaw for the
2021 team
Dodgers, but I
homegrown?
still don't believe that either.
Say that again, Jackson.
Wasn't most of the 2021 Braves homegrown?
Yes.
Yeah, okay.
You had
Listen.
Freed, Anderson, both homegrown arms were in the starting rotation.
Anderson is crazy. That's
But hold on. His first 3 years weren't awful.
I know.
No, he was gross.
I said it was against the grain. I'm not
So,
saying it's
I- no,
100% factual, but like
No,
for
yeah,
the
I get
most
it.
part,
Yeah.
like my goal with that guy is like maybe he turns around and helps my team right now, but the likelihood is I'm going to show how good he is, and then I'm going to get a bunch of players for him. And when I'm in the position to go win a World Series, I'm buying pitchers.
I really think I would prefer you to put it as that's a secondary goal, because if you're ever taking anybody for the intent of them not being a high-level cornerstone piece for your franchise, we've already lost. My opinion.
Okay, that's fair.
Is that fair? Like, I can understand where you're coming from of like, I believe we can develop this guy, and the floor is at the bare minimum. He's good enough that we could move him for pieces to make things happen. But like, you don't take Seth Hernandez without believing he could be the top of your rotation at some point.
That's fair.
Right? I see your logic, and I totally understand where you're coming from, by all means. I'm the most interesting one at this point for me seems to be the Willits situation. I think Eli Willits is an outstanding player, outstanding prospect. Just a lot of pedigree behind him. You know, size-wise, they've got him listed at 6'1", 180, which is very good size for a shortstop. Love the swing, has the ability to keep his hands inside the ball. Potentially better than anybody else in this draft, especially from a prep perspective, is just an absolute versatile defender with high-end speed. I just find it interesting that we have such a talk for him at 1, and not because the problem for me is it's not people saying they think he deserves to be 1 from the talent level. It's basically people saying, well, that could be the deal that the Nationals take at 1. And as we've talked about in the past, how many times do you get 1-1? Stop talking about taking a deal. It's a really frustrating point for me. You've got to take somebody that you truly feel like you can dream on. And if that's Willits, fine. I'm not here to fight it. But if you're saying take Willits just because he's a guy you can sign under slot, again, another situation where I feel you've already lost at 1.
Yeah, no, I mean I agree with you. It's especially the way that the draft setup is nowadays, right? Like we were talking about this before with the 2014, 2015 that the Astros pulled where they, went and drafted Brady Aiken first overall, and then Brady Aiken turns around and doesn't sign, and they get 2 top 5 picks in the 2015 draft. They turned it into Bregman and Kyle Tucker. Like, there's a level at which, like, I don't love the move of trying to find a guy that isn't maybe going to sign so you could go ahead and get more next year. I also think that that's just not the way the draft works anymore with the what's it called? What's the draft? The lottery.
The lottery, yep.
Yeah, there it is, with the draft lottery, and it's not really worth setting yourself up for being in a position where you do the draft lottery and then you get a really bad, second first round pick. Not that they're that bad of first round picks, but we're at 4
just
o'clock
don't think-
though. So
That's
I
just
assume-
not something you do on purpose, though, right? Like, they didn't.
No,
Brady
you don't do that on
Aiken,
purpose.
they took Brady
Well-
Aiken expecting Brady Aiken to be a guy, right?
Hold on.
And then, or they took him, offered him, and they had a problem with his physical, so
Correct.
they lowered the awful.
So, my
Brady
point is,
Aiken
though-
needed elbow surgery.
Hold on. I totally understand. It happened to Rocker. It happened to Rocker too, and that was a whole thing. My point is like the argument for that was you take Cade Anderson, and if he has elbow issues, you go do something different. Let's stop acting like we're taking Cade Anderson because you think he might have elbow issues to go do this, regardless, right? Like, this is what I go back to is overcomplicating your pick, especially at 1-1 when you have it, can only lead to things not going right. Like, the Astros were aware that Aiken might have issues, right? So they knew there was a fallback plan in place, but like, regardless of what became of Brady Aiken, they weren't taking him because they didn't feel like he had the ceiling to go at 1. Maybe you disagree. I don't know.
No, I agree. I agree.
I mean, it was still Jeff Lunau at the time in 2014. He follows very similar suit to obviously what Mike Elias does now for the Orioles, and we'll talk about the Orioles because they've got 4 first-round picks, 19, 30, 31, and 37. But in Mike Elias' time with the Orioles, he has never drafted a pitcher in the first round.
Yeah,
I do expect that to be one of his 4 picks this year, but I don't expect it to be until 30 or 31. I don't expect his 19th overall pick to be a pitcher. I expect it to be a bat. But it's funny, right? Like, if you look at the track record of the Astros after that Brady Aiken, if I'm not mistaken, it's been a lot of hitters.
Yeah.
Right? Like, you almost kind of look at it and say, you know, how memorable was that for them, even with what it was able to turn into the next year? Did they end up feeling like, okay, well, if that's what happens, then what are we doing here? Like, they did take Forrest Whitley, who, like, just now this year is starting to make
other
impact
issues that
somewhere
were
else after
related.
they DFA'd him.
He was,
right?
Yeah, he had some off the field issues too, right? He had some steroid issues while he was in the minors.
But other than him and JB Bukauskas, they've only took position players.
Fun fact of the day: did you know that in the year Harper's last year with the Nats, so that would have been 2018. At the deadline, the Nats had a deal in place with the Astros, with JB Bukauskas being being the number 1 player coming back from the Astros, plus a plethora of prospects, and ownership shut it down.
Wow. Did you see the other day, speaking of, did you see the other day somebody interviewed Jim Duquette, Dan Duquette's brother. Dan Duquette was the Orioles GM when Buck Showalter was the manager back when they were like a playoff team in the 2014, 2012, 2016 era. There was a deal on the table sending Machado to the Diamondbacks.
I saw that.
At one point, some of the pieces that Baltimore would have gotten in return, I'm kind of pissed at Angelos. Not that I'll never not be pissed at Angelos, but here we go. Manfred's on the stage.
Yes.
You guys nervous? I'm nervous.
No.
Is he getting booed? Is he getting booed like NFL?
Goodell? No, he did not.
No.
Okay.
We're respectable fans, Jackson.
Baseball fans have class.
Yeah, right.
Ask a Yankees fan.
Come on now. Oh, boy. Who are the Nationals going to take with the first overall pick?
I do truly think it's all song and dance, and they're gonna just say Ethan Holiday, and we're all gonna giggle because we kind of knew it.
I think it's Cade Anderson. All right, Rob.
No, Rob's got a whole speech.
He's got to thank everyone for being there. And you know what? I do like this, though, because I heard on the Table Setters pod when they had Jack Wilson, they had asked him about the experience going to the draft with Jacob and how, like, it was an interesting thing because Jacob's hype had really happened in such a short window. But their whole thing to like the whole Wilson family was like, we want you guys here because we're trying to make the draft a bigger thing. We're trying to make it more of like a thing that people watch on TV and that gets more visibility. And I think they've done a great job of it, right? I think
It was really well done last year. Really,
and they picked
well
a better
done.
time of year. They used to do it during the college season. They used to do it between the regional and super regionals, if I'm
I
not
think a
mistaken.
big
All right.
I think a
Looks like
big
our
reason-
picks in. Surprise, surprise.
What'd
I
you say,
think a
Jackson?
big reason it's gotten better is the growth of college baseball. So we're hearing names that we watch college baseball. When
Yep.
college baseball wasn't as popular, it didn't mean as much to people. So even like a casual fan heard of Paul Skeens 2 years ago,
Yeah.
heard of Liam Doyle this year, and they're like, oh, and it connects in the brain quicker. I feel like that's
I
helped
agree.
along as well.
Good point. That's true. What do you think about that?
I listen, the growth of the draft from a viewership perspective, I think, is really important for the game, right? It is something that's utilized very well in other sports, especially, across sports in the United States. So they do need to continue to grow the brand. Again, I thought they did a great job last year. I'm hoping they continue to do a good job this year. But it's just going to be fun to break down these picks. At the end of the day, regardless of how it's shown, we all get to sit up here and we get to debate and talk about the talents that these teams take. I don't, there's nobody who will ever be undeserving. I think that's the first thing that we start with in this front, and it's going to be fun to see what happens.
So,
Uh-oh. What
you
is
guys
he
will
like?
like this. You guys know the Twitter account MLB Executive Burner?
I do.
They just tweeted 5 minutes ago. So hard to sit and wait till the 19th pick.
That's funny.
Yeah,
Who's 19th?
the Orioles. Everybody thinks MLB Executive Burner is Mike Elias's burner account.
Hold on, really?
Yes.
I didn't know that.
So the bio used to say, where did he go? Yale, right? If I'm not mistaken. Where did he
Do
go?
we think he's a real executive?
Yeah, he went to Yale.
Do
It
we think the
says-
Twitter guy is? Probably not,
Yeah.
but I love him anyways.
No, I think it's just
Oh,
a
I
random
love it.
guy on Twitter, but I love that he does. I love that he tweets that, and it goes, it used to say, like former left-handed pitcher, Yale grad, and Mike Elias is like a left-hander and went to Yale. And I think it was like he was playing into this thing where people always thought it was Mike Elias, but he changed the bio. But
Because he's probably got a cease and desist from Mike Elias.
very possible. The top comment. So, which white boy are you drafting this year?
Jeez Louise.
Oh, baseball Twitter might be my favorite place on the face of the earth.
Baseball Twitter's a fun place. Thanks for hanging out with us tonight, too, Baseball Twitter. We appreciate you guys.
I saw
Always
somebody
for us.
somebody had said like Vance Honeycutt hasn't been playing very well, and someone goes, he needs to grow his hair out.
All right. How about it, huh?
Boy.
Caden Bodine right here.
Caden Bodine, number 1 overall.
Can you imagine?
Switching
Honestly,
to catcher.
would you be
from
okay
Texas
with
to Nick
that instead of
Adler.
Keybear?
I'm not taking Caden Bodine 1-1.
Dude, what was the stat? I quote tweeted this the other day.
12
Also, I
swings
hope I
and
eat
misses.
those words. I hope Caden Bodine is the greatest catcher to ever live. Let me be very clear.
12 swings and misses on 414 fastballs in the zone.
444 pitches Caden Bodine saw inside the strike zone. He swung and missed at just 12.
22 of them. Yeah.
12.
12 of them. Sorry. Yes.
That's insane. Man, Kyle Stowers, pretty good day at the plate. I will say, really good day on the mound for Trevor Rogers yesterday.
Yeah, he was solid. He also wasn't even eligible for the win.
Well, when you score 0 runs,
I know.
nobody's
That's
eligible for
where I
the
was
win.
moving this. Maybe the Orioles will find some offense at 19.
They'll definitely draft a bat. That's for sure. I mean, listen, Kobe Mayo has started 2 of the last 11 games. This is the thing. Everybody said, why isn't Mayo up? Why isn't Mayo up? Well, you know what? Mayo's up, and now he's not getting at bats. So where do you want him? Now, if I'm Mayo, I probably still want to be in the big leagues, collecting a big league paycheck, much better clubhouse, much more comfortable day-to-day. But, like, I'd also want to be playing baseball.
If I'm the Orioles, Gage Wood at 30 if he's there. Make him your closer tomorrow.
I don't think
Here we go.
I don't think they're shy on a closer.
Here we go.
Wow.
Hold on, I haven't seen it yet.
Jeff Passan just breaking the news on Twitter before the MLB live stream gets it out there. Can you dig it, baseball Twitter?
Wow.
Adam Schefter does it every year. Or no, Woj did it every year.
Wow. So we weren't wrong though. We knew he was going to be a potential up there, but now I think Holiday goes 4 to the Rockies. I think there's no question in my mind.
I think him going anywhere else would be pretty wild. Okay, first reactions on Willits. Again, super athlete, can play everywhere on the diamond, maybe has the most range of any player across the board when it comes to infield range, and he can play all 3 outfield positions at a high level already. His field of hit is wonderful. Good. He's got the switch hit tool in the bag. I don't love it, man. My only thing with Willits is simple. You take him because you think he could be a perennial all-star. You don't take him because he's this underslot deal. That's all I ask. If you took him because you
love
thought
it or
he'd be
you
that
do
guy-
love it.
I'm saying as long as you took Willits
Yes.
because you believe he is a perennial all-star, an elite player with what you got to see behind the scenes that I don't get to see, I'm all about this pick. Absolutely,
What an
no
absurd
questions
player comp
asked.
from the MLB. From MLB Network, player comp, Geraldo Perdomo.
That's wild.
What?
Perdomo
No,
was an
and
all-star this year.
Andrew asked in the live show chat if this is them cheaping out. I don't think so. I think this is a guy that they genuinely think is a 1-1 caliber player. Is super highly graded. He has really good MLB pedigree. He's a switch hitter. I really, honestly, as long as they pay him full bore and this wasn't them cheaping out, I really like this pick. I think it tells me that they see he's got versatility. I mean, we talked about this before the show, Jackson, with the Cardinals, right? Like, just because you have a starting shortstop right now that's a young guy doesn't mean you don't draft a shortstop. It would have been the same if they took Holiday. I think that this is just continues to give them options as an organization with more and more young talent. I'm really happy they did not take a pitcher. Because where they're at in their window, they should be going to look for buying pitchers and leveraging the young bats that they have and hope that a guy like Mackenzie Gore keeps progressing and hope that some of their other younger arms continue to progress, either in the bullpen or down in the farm. I mean, Sikora's a phenomenal arm as long as he stays healthy. I know he's got the tricep thing, but part of me just wonders if that was precautionary and giving him some time off with how much he's already thrown this year. I'm happy with this choice that they made. For me, it had to be Willits or Holiday. It wasn't going to be a pitcher, and I think that when you break down, hopefully that they spent true money on this. I think it's a fine pick.
So my unnamed source says it's a huge money saver. So if that's the only reason I won't like this, it's not that I don't like the player of Willits. It's I just don't believe you draft like that at 1-1. I like Willits' profile, and I think he could be a very, very good player. And I'm definitely happy to have him in the organization. I don't want it to come off as any other way. It's just an ideology piece for me when I look at why I'm taking somebody at 1, right? There's a why to everything that we do. And they really are going to need to blow me away with the next 2 picks to tell me that, quote unquote, saving money with the pick that you get in franchise history, a total now of 3 times, is just never a good idea.
Who are they expecting to still be available when their next pick comes at 49?
It'll be just like last year. If this goes right, it'll be high-end high schoolers that people didn't think were actually going to come out. Whether we know that those guys were or were not, their numbers were so high that they were going to go to college unless somebody paid them.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
Right? And by taking – the big thing here is what people have to learn, and this is a good lesson for anybody who's sitting out there wanting to know why we're talking about cost savings in a draft. So the approximate value of this pick is $11.08 million. There's a certain amount of bonus pool money you get. The Nats would still need to sign their number 1 pick for that leftover money to be part of their bonus pool to use for other picks. So Willits, if he's a quote-unquote money saver, which again, his talent says he's more than a money saver. I'm all about it. However, let's say they sign him for $9 million. That additional $2 million that you didn't use can now go towards another pick to sign somebody over slot. It's a good thing for people to understand. There's going to be a lot of wonkiness tonight. You're going to see names you didn't expect in certain places because teams have guys that they think they can fill their draft out with across the board. So hopefully you guys will see some of that play out across the board, and it should be an interesting thing.
Now, the only thing I'll say when it comes to the Angels picking next, I did see that Holiday was at the Angels Stadium not long ago. And I think he was probably at a lot of these stadiums, but I'm curious if he lasts down to number 4 or if the Angels were dead set on taking one of the two of them and are happy to have the fact that Holiday has already fallen one spot.
I think this is a 2-horse race too. I think it's Cade or I think it's Holiday.
Bremner, money saving.
Whoa! I told you today he was going to go way higher than people thought. We were literally sitting in Chipotle, and I said people are going to be so shocked when this goes top 10.
This is off to a wild start. Wild start.
Are you serious? Wow. This is
All
why
right.
we had him. This is
Our draft board looks good, gentlemen.
Our draft. Flax. And Flax and Jackson, tell everybody about Tyler Bremner.
Tall.
I'll start
righty,
off. Bremner
throws
has
downhill.
personally my favorite pitch in the class. He's a big changeup guy, uses it a lot, can throw it in every count, has a lot of arms how to run. I believe it had a 50% whiff rate last year. He's a big, lanky guy, as you can see if you're watching the draft. Bremner's a very fun player. I love the changeup, but I'm a little shocked to see him go to.
I'm not necessarily. I want to say I'm not shocked. 2 is high. I was thinking somewhere in the 5 to 7 range with one of those Cardinals, Pirates, Marlins teams, to be quite honest with you. But this is why we had him in our top 10. He got no visibility this season. It's not shocking that a California team saw him at a little bit of a higher level than some other teams saw him with him being at UCSB. But UCSB is known as being a pitching powerhouse. They have sent guys through the top 5 numerous times. They are constantly churning. They have a guy right now who's going to be a potential top 5 pick next year in Jackson Flora, right? Like they have really, really, really solid talent. And Bremner's of that caliber that we could see him pitching at the next level very quickly.
That's where this doesn't shock me. The Los Angeles Angels, once again, taking a guy that they know could be a big leaguer in the next 2 months. Wow. And I say that wholeheartedly because Bremner's stuff is already major league caliber. I'm a huge fan of the player Bremner is, and I think this can be a very solid pick for the Angels because of how we know they develop players, which the last couple of years looks like they don't. They just get you to the big leagues and let you go from there with the major league staff.
Bremner, for those curious, MLB has him graded as a 65 grade changeup. I have it as a 70. So, without a doubt, it's my favorite changeup in the class. It might be my favorite pitch in the class. I mean, with a guy like that, you can see him having a floor as a good reliever, but I think he could be starting games at the end of this year into next year.
Yep.
So we had him at number 10. Where did the MLB have him on their list?
18
right now.
Yeah,
18.
They had him at 18. We had Bremner. Bremner snuck into our top 10.
Yeah, we had him at number 10, but like he was only 10 because it felt crazy putting him higher, but when we had broken, I mean, the way we went through our whole thing was basically breaking people out into chunks. You know, it's funny. So Andrew just asked in the chat, did these teams not watch Cade Anderson at the highest level? I think you have to remember that, like, watching a guy in a moment like that versus watching these guys for an entire season and watching these guys build up to this point and these scouts going and talking with these kids and their families and just knowing what they want for themselves as an organization.
Hold on, before the Mariners go here, let me pop in. So, and I'm going to bring up my anonymous source who is going to stay anonymous, but he literally just texted me and said, this week's draft money is going to be the theme of the draft. Saving money is going to be the theme of this draft. So teams think this is a deeper draft than I think the rest of us believe because there's guys that they really, really want to grab. So to answer Andrew's question, I think this is really important. these teams are taking a highly talented guy who they can get, in their opinion, more than likely under slot, which is why Cade Anderson hasn't gone. Cade Anderson is not an under slot player. Now, we just left Cade Anderson on the board here for the Seattle Mariners. They have their pick of what we truly do consider the top 3 arms in the draft.
Yeah,
On our big board.
we had him as top. We had the top
So,
4. Yeah, top.
Talk
4.
about this. Seattle was the winner of the draft lottery. They're feeling like winners today if they were planning on spending this money.
I think
If
they
they're
already
planning
on
knew
spending-
where they got their pick.
Say it again.
I think they go over slot right here.
They're either going to go over slot or on slot, right? This is a pick I do not expect to be under slot by any means.
Is
This
Tony
is
Vitello
set up
on?
for them. Yeah, it's Vitello.
Yeah, Vitello's on the panel.
Get ETSU bucked, man. Get out of here. I own that guy.
All right, who you got?
I don't think this is Seth Hernandez. I think this is.
There it is. Cade Anderson. Dude, they are ecstatic to get him. That is
Oh yeah, I bet they
what a
were.
pick.
I bet as soon as Bremner went, they were losing it in their draft room.
I wouldn't be surprised if he was 1-1 for them.
Say it again.
I think he was at the top of their board.
I think he probably was too. I think he was too. Jackson, run everybody through Cade Anderson's stuff.
A 4-pitch guy, one of the only lefties in the class this year that is a true 4-pitch mix. Fastball, changeup, slider. The fastball runs like a little cut ride. Pulling it up real quick. Give me a quick second. Changeup kind of fades off the fastball, then has a baby sweeping slider, and then a curveball that has a lot of depth. All these pitches played great together. All of them had 30+% whiff rates last year. Mixes all of them in great through each pitch over 12% of the time. You don't see left-handed college arms throwing 4 pitches like that a lot, especially at the volume he was throwing them. I love Cade Anderson. I think Cade Anderson can be a starting pitcher right now in the MLB.
I love that. And so listen, Cade Anderson, overall, the most polished college pitcher, I think, this season from an overall standpoint. A guy, again, with 4 legitimate pitches, 3 of them potentially plus pitches as he develops. I really, really believe that this pick has got to be Ethan Holiday, no question. The Colorado Rockies had Ethan Holiday fall to 4, a guy whose biggest concern that everybody has is his ability to, make consistent contact because he has a little bit of a quote-unquote swing and miss issue. Breaking balls break less in Colorado. The air is thinner. I think this is a dream come true potentially for Ethan Holiday as well. I'm excited to see this, but I think they would really, really hurt themselves to take anybody other than Holiday here, in my opinion.
I think the Cardinals at 5 right now are fired up. The Cardinals love their spot, I think. I think they're expecting Holiday at 4. They're going to have their pick of the next 3 pitchers or potentially a high school shortstop or Arquette.
This might leave Seth Hernandez open and available for the Cardinals.
Oh my gosh, that would fire me up. I need Seth Hernandez at 5.
Still makes me think Billy Carlson's going to be a Pirate, which would just upset me.
Or Marlin. That's a very Marlins pick too. Yeah, I think if Colorado
Cool interview with Willits. I'm enjoying this.
Oh, I was wondering why you were silent. Are you
Good-
watching his
good
interview?
kid.
I was
Yeah.
texting my brothers about it. I think somebody got to Jeff Passan, by the way, and said, "Hey man, you're breaking the news on the picks before we actually get to stream them. because this latest one with Kate Anderson came out after it was shown on the MLB stream, on the MLB Network stream.
No, have you kept up with the NBA draft before?
Yeah,
Woj
they get broken.
Woj wouldn't say they're getting picked. Woj would be like, the Grizzlies are zeroing in on Ja Morant for the second pick, like 5 minutes before.
Well,
it's posted.
and
He's
not only
right
that,
every time.
not only that, but now it's like they trade these guys, and these guys don't have hats. This is what I think is hilarious. Like Willits knew how long ago that he was going to be picked by the Nats, right? Like the guy's got a Nats hat on.
Willits knew the moment Rizzo and Davey were fired.
It's probably true.
I don't say it poorly. I'm just being honest. Good. Listen, I'm excited for Eli Willits. Let me be clear, but this is going to be Ethan Holiday, and I'm going to bet a lot of money on it. So let's see what happens.
They're going to go under slot, take like Jace Lavalliette here.
Oh my gosh. Listen, if we were drafting this time last year on this crap of players, yeah, that's exactly who they'd take. Crazy what a year does in the Major League Draft.
Well, I just love. Honestly, like this is my favorite thing because like, and my brother Michael agreed with you, Ryan, that like going under slot 1-1 just feels wrong.
Right.
But
it's not about the player either. I want to be so clear about that, right? Like
no. But at the same time, you know, I think that Angels fans are, if they're not aware of who Tyler Bremner is, I think you just got an absolute steal of a pick.
Not just that, he fits what they do, right? He's gonna be there tomorrow. Like,
yeah, he literally might not go. He literally may not pick in the minor leagues. There it is.
Was it Ethan?
As expected, it was Ethan Holiday.
Got that one right. No question.
Well, I did say that to you earlier today.
We've been talking about the fact that if Holiday fell to 4 for months. This is not a you said to me today. Me and you have been talking about this for months if this was to happen. Straight up.
All right, Cardinals. Seth
All right,
Hernandez,
Jackson. All right, you've seen the board. Eli Willits goes 1. Tyler Bremner goes 2. Cade Anderson goes 3. Ethan Holiday 4. Who do you want to see for the Cardinals?
For me, I think it should be a 3-horse race between Arnold, Seth Hernandez, and Arquette. If I had my pick, it's Seth Hernandez. But I wouldn't be surprised to see a high school shortstop. JoJo Parker's the name on the top of my mind. He could sneak in there at 5. But I think they're going to go a college guy. They've been college the past 2 years with J.J. Weatherholt last year, which is looking like a steal of a pick a year later. And then Chase Davis the year before that. I think you're going to stick with the theme of college here. So, yeah, I think it's going to be Arnold or I think it's going to be Arquette. But I would love Seth Hernandez.
Okay. I listen, you know how I feel about Hernandez. I think he's great. It'll be really interesting to see what happens here for sure. The Cardinals have a lot. Again, you're right, licking their chops. Look at our draft board right now, right? We've got a lot of guys who are off our top 10 in the first 4 picks, but, you know, it's going to be interesting. It really is.
None of our top 10 should have shocked anybody. I think really the only one that we had in our top 10 that's off the board that other people maybe did not have in their top 10 was probably Bremner. I don't know that there's anybody else in our top 10 that will end up coming out there other than maybe Cunningham is probably a guy that maybe not everybody has on their top 10 as far as like high school shortstops. Again, we did not have Billy Carlson in our top 10. There were a couple other guys that were on the board that were high on others' boards that we did not have in our top 10.
We had Bremner as our number 1 college arm. Most people had Witherspoon.
We did not have JoJo Parker in our top 10. But I am interested to see what happens next.
Yeah, let's get this refreshed.
I was about to ask you to refresh.
Yeah, super excited. Yeah, that's all I'm gonna say. Jackson is stressing. I can see it on his face. Jackson is stressing.
This is Jackson's feeling the way I felt. I'm not even a Nats fan, but Jackson's.
There's a couple players I don't want them to draft. I'll keep silent on who that is. There's a couple people who I don't want, but that's what I'm feeling.
Hey, listen, Knicks fans booed Kristaps Porzingis.
Yeah.
They did.
I have my dream pick. I have like 3 guys who I'd be fine with, but everyone else I just wouldn't love.
I'm interested if they go. I'm really interested to see if the Cards go with an underslot right-hander.
Witherspoon.
That was the one I was thinking.
Who's your underslot right-hander?
Witherspoon. That's the only guy worth taking this high who'd be underslot, unless they just Gage Wood it. Which, if they Gage Wood it, I would lose my mind.
If Gage Wood shot up the board and Cade Anderson fell 2 spots after both of their College World Series appearances, I would die. That'd be hilarious.
I don't. If the Cardinals don't go under slot, who do you want?
Seth Hernandez.
Let's throw under slot out of the window here. We made our draft board. Who are you? If the 3 names get taken, who are they for you?
Seth Hernandez.
Hernandez is top of your board, but Hernandez would be the number 1 person on our entire board if you were the only one controlling it. So other than Hernandez, who are you okay with?
Jamie Arnold.
Jamie Arnold.
Oh yeah, I like that.
Jamie Arnold's not.
We've got 70 people in chat watching the live stream. If you guys in chat, I want to hear your thoughts. Who you guys think the Cardinals take before this pick comes in, and
it looks like it's already
a couple of these other spots, because it's now become a very interesting draft to see who a lot of these teams do end up choosing to take versus who they end up choosing to pass on just because of money, because money seems to be the player here.
I think they're going to go under slot. I wouldn't be surprised if Witherspoon. Another name who's an under slot guy would be an Ike Irish.
Interesting to go with a bat.
Potentially the most major league ready college bat in a lot of people's eyes. I don't know that I agree with that, but I do know that that's the way he's touted. All right, I think Manfred's about to walk to the stage here and announce this pick.
Yeah,
Jackson, deep breaths. Stay with us here.
Hopefully it's not one of the guys you don't want. Oh boy.
I'm a little bit behind. I'm watching on my phone.
I need Passan to stop. Like, he hasn't sent it yet, but I need Passan to stop getting out in front of it. Come on, say the pick. Does Manfred do all of the top 10 or the entire first round?
Entire first round.
That's a long
Liam Doyle.
Liam Doyle.
I like the pick, man. I know you concern yourself with where his floor might be in the pen, but you got a fastball that you can dream on with this kid, man.
Doyle has best fastball in the class, in my opinion. I was an Arnold guy ahead of Doyle, have been for a while, but I love Doyle. I think that fastball stuff you can dream of. I think the secondary is slightly better than people give it credit for. He just hasn't thrown it a lot. When you can throw fastballs at the top of the zone and the best hitters in college baseball can't hit it, why would you throw anything else? So I think there's a little bit of pitch ability that Doyle still has to learn how to work through. I think he can do it, but that fastball is stuff you can dream of. That fastballs might be the best pitch in the class.
Here's what I love looking at with Liam Doyle. Liam Doyle at Coastal and at Ole Miss was at the time, and everybody here can agree when you look at his production stats and what he did there, was not considered an upper echelon in a draft arm. Liam Doyle has shown a propensity for growth. I talk about this all the time with players, right? He went to Tennessee, and he heavily improved his game. Part of that more than likely being in the offseason. The rest of that being at Tennessee during the season. This is the type of guy who is going to an organization that we always joke is one of the most professional organizations in all of baseball, because the Cardinals do not rebuild, they retool. And Liam Doyle really does fit their retool situation. Putting his arm in this rotation, hopefully within the next year and a half, could be huge for them.
Well, that's another one of our top 10 off the board.
So far, our top 10 has only been taken. Loving our board.
Loving it. I think with where the Cardinals are, the past couple years, it's been a lot of pitchers, especially in the middle rounds. You got Quinn Matthews, Tink Henson in the minor leagues. If we can time it up right, you could see 3-4 young arms for the Cardinals debuting within a year or two, which could be very fun to watch, for sure. You see Tink, you can see Quinn, you can see Doyle, Cooper Zerb if he comes back healthy. There's definitely a lot of guys who they can work back.
The staff as it exists. That's why I keep saying, I truly see. The Pirates pick is in. I truly see Doyle being your back end psycho closer, fastball splitter guy for a very long time in this league. And I think he's going to be very good at that. And I think with the depth between Tink Hence, Quinn Matthews, Cooper Jerp, and a bunch of these other guys that the Cardinals have in their system, plus the ability, as always, to go buy a starter, the likelihood for me is that long term, within this next true window that the Cardinals are entering and slash kind of in, Liam Doyle fits that by being the shutdown guy as a part of that group.
I know how much you love him in that role. I just don't. Again, I don't think you take a guy 5th overall.
No.
with the
I'm
thought
not,
process
and I'm
that-
not saying they're taking him for that purpose.
Sure.
I think they think, especially with their ability to develop a lot of guys, that they're going to develop a better breaking ball with him and run him breaking ball, fastball, splitter, and know the breaking ball doesn't have to be perfect. They're just going to, like Jackson said, develop a little more pitchability around the fastball and splitter, and he'll probably start working as a starter out of the gate. But again,
The
I
Cardinals-
keep talking about this very similarly to the Josh Hader situation. The Orioles didn't draft Josh Hader as a closer, but Josh Hader got to a point where he was such a good fastball slider guy, and he's so dominant in a 1 to 2 inning stretch that he has become a premier closer in this league. That's the trajectory I see Doyle on.
Also, I'm just going to point out here, Seth Hernandez and Paul Skeens might be in a rotation together really soon. Just going to throw that out there in the universe.
Yeah. All right. Let's talk about this right now, though. This is fun. So if the Pirates are to take Seth Hernandez, who we absolutely love, we're potentially talking about before Paul Skeens' deal is up, Paul Skeens, Bubba Chandler, Seth Hernandez, Jared Jones, and a 5.
Mitch Keller.
No,
Mitch
Keller's
Keller's
gone.
gone by
Keller's
then
gone at the
because
deadline.
of his
No
service time.
question. But how does
Still
that
would be sick, though. I'm not fighting you there.
how does that
No.
change? How does that change the outlook in how that team? I'm trying to think about the right way to ask this question. How does that change your outlook on when and if they should think about trading Paul Skeens, considering of what they could get back for him offensively, knowing a healthy collection of those other guys between Jared Jones, Bubba Chandler, and potentially Seth Hernandez is, right? If those are your top 3, go find 2 more and find offense by trading Paul Skeens, right?
With that being said, I do not think Seth Hernandez is the pick here. I think it'll be bad. I'm thinking Arquette right now.
I'm gonna
That was
disagree
also
with you.
that was up there for me. I was thinking Arquette, but I don't
My-
think
Did you see it?
my other thing here with Arquette is that I think he goes 2 spots lower. Yeah, there it is. As it should be. I think Arquette's going to go to the Blue Jays. That's where I think he's going to end
Oh,
up.
that's gross.
It's unfair, but I think it's going to
Yeah.
happen.
No, that'd be a great pick. We're 6 for 6. All of them are the top 10 so far.
Uh-huh. No shock. Who do we have left on our top 6?
Arnold.
Oh, yeah, right.
Arnold,
Whoa.
Pierce, Arquette. Who's the other one?
We didn't have Pierce.
Aloy.
Yeah, we had Arnold,
And
Aloy.
we have Wehiva a lot higher than other people.
I know. That's okay. We
Our
have
last-
Arnold.
Me.
We have Arnold, Aloy, Arquette. There's one more. Oh, Cunningham.
Yeah, Cunningham. My last Cardinals thought before we move on, the Cardinals have lacked a shutdown swing and miss starter for a long time. We thought Jack Flaherty was going to be the guy, wasn't. It's been a lot of older guys who have pitched good and gotten outs, but getting a bona fide swing and miss guy who's fun to watch every 5th day, the Cardinals have lacked that, and Doyle can be that guy. So don't hate to pick, but I think Hernandez by the Pirates is the steal of the draft so far.
Real quick, while we wait for the Marlins to put their pick in, first of all, we want to thank everybody who's joining along with us as we live react to these picks with you. All 72 of you guys sitting here watching us on the live stream. If you guys enjoy us chatting, talking about baseball, the way we go about this, and you haven't checked out our podcast yet, we're on Spotify, we're on Apple, we're on YouTube. That's the other one. I couldn't think of it. Our episodes are out there. We did a 3-part series on our draft big board, going through 10 players at a time while also mixing in some other more traditional baseball topics. Tuesday, we'll be dropping an episode where we recap what's most likely going to either be the top 10 or the top 15, depending on how long we talk. And then probably talking about the Orioles trade of Brian Baker to the Rays. And we're going to talk about it because it's relevant with the Orioles collecting their 37th pick in the draft that the Rays previously had, which we will by the end of tonight know exactly what that means, what that looks like, and who that is for the Orioles, and what that trade at that point ends up looking like between the Orioles and Rays. So wanted to throw that in there before the Marlins make their pick. Their pick is in.
Who do we think it is? Who do we think it is?
I'm thinking Jamie Arnold.
I think it's Arquette.
Prep shortstop. Prep shortstop is my pick.
Which prep shortstop?
Prep shortstop is my pick.
There's
There's
one big one on the list left. Well, there's
one
two,
of us.
sorry.
One of us is right.
I think it's
One of the three of us is right.
One of the three of us is right.
I like the
it would be-
insider information. This is fun for us. For those watching, we have insider information. Go tell your friends. We're not going to give it to you, but we have it.
I'll go JoJo Parker.
For those of you wondering, Ryan is not telling me and Jackson. He keeps putting into chat that he knows, but he doesn't tell us, which is probably the right thing to do because I'd probably just say it because I'm an idiot.
You would.
And Ryan knows this, which is why
Have you
Ryan
guys ever
does
seen
not.
the movie Up, where there's squirrels distracting dogs? That's Flax with picks.
Speaking of watching movies, Jackson, I watched Moneyball last night. I know your favorite movie. And I told Ryan one of my favorite parts of the movie is when he's sitting there in an office with Peter Brandon. He's trading Pena and he's trading Giambi and Jeremy Giambi, that is. And he goes, the problem here is that you think we have to explain ourselves. And I keep trying to explain to Ryan that when you are a GM, it's your job to make moves because you think they're the right moves, not because you think you can tell people why you made the move.
100%.
So all of these GMs that are making these draft picks, there was a reason I brought this up, by the way. I wanted you guys to know this. All of these GMs and these draft picks that they're making for those fans out there that are watching, remember that your GM's probably not going to tell you why he made this pick, nor does he have to. He has to hope that the draft pick pans out and turns into something, and he never has to answer a question about it, right? Like they believe in what they're choosing so much and what they're doing so much that the expectation is, I don't have to explain myself. I'm doing it because I think this is the right thing to do. Now, if you're the Nationals and you have the number 1 overall draft pick, and this is now a conglomerate room of people who all have an opinion, you're probably going to have to answer some questions. Especially when you sign a guy under slot. Number 1 overall.
See it?
I see it.
Iva Arquette.
Let's go! He's off the board.
Iva Arquette is off the board.
I think the best.
I'd like to
I think
also
the best
state that
college
I
player off the board.
legitimately said what I said prior to knowing as well. That was not a off thing. Yeah, love this pick.
It seems to me maybe we were seeing some of the prep shortstops fall a little bit outside of Holiday and Willits. I think they were in a class of their own above the rest. Or what people were thinking of them, it looks like the rest of them are falling just a little bit. Interested to see how long that's going to go on. I feel like we could see a stretch of them all go in a row here in a bit.
I don't want to interrupt you, Jackson, but I do actually need to. Hey, Flax, they just on MLB TV decided to show that the best tool
I see.
Iva
I'm
Arquette
watching it.
holds is a 60 grade arm. Could you please tell the people about Iva Arquette and the fact that the 60 grade arm is not the best part of his game and not why he's being taken 7th overall?
I don't understand how he's evaluated as a 50 hit and a 55 power. When I watch this guy play, it feels very much to me like his ceiling could be a very young Alex Rodriguez. It's a very easy swing with a lot of pop to all fields. He does a very good job of defensively gliding at the shortstop position, covering a ton of ground. He's very big. He's a very large human being. You can see it on our screen there, 6'5", 220. He is incredibly talented. His hit tool is phenomenal. For me, I think it's what's hard is a lot of these draft grades don't necessarily get put together as the college season goes along. A lot of times they get put together based on some of their work or some of their time in like the Cape and summer leagues when they see them hit with wood bat because that holds a lot of weight. One of my buddies who's a scout was telling me this that there's a couple guys, and the hardest thing for D3 hitters and why they don't get drafted ever is because D3 hitters, it's not about the pitching they face. It's just that they don't play in summer leagues like the Cape very often or the Northwoods or, all these leagues where you're then facing the right caliber of pitching with a wood bat. And these higher level guys do. But the other problem, and I think I'd say the same thing about Bremner, he's on the wrong part of the country. He's just not in the right spot to get seen nearly as much as he should. If you're not middle of the country and over to the East Coast, you're just never going to get graded nearly as high as anybody else unless you do something absolutely ridiculous like we were talking about Adley Rutschman in 2019.
Non-SEC player, right? That's that like we talk about.
Partially non-SEC, but also partially just like you just don't get as many eyes on you out west. There's too many guys out west to cover. Like the conglomerate of players in the Midwest that get seen by Midwest scouts versus the amount of kids that exist within that space, the amount of people that are scouting the East Coast comparatively to the amount of people that are in California as a state, you just can't get seen nearly as much. You have to physically put yourself in front of those people. And Bremner being at UCSB did the same thing for him that Arquette being at Oregon State did this year. Now, Arquette was rated much higher than Bremner was and ended up only getting taken one spot lower than where he was ranked by MLB. But there was a reason we ranked Arquette even a little higher. 100%. Just felt like his tool set was head and shoulders above a lot of guys.
Who do you think it is here at 8?
Well, now that it's not Arquette, now I think it's Jamie Arnold.
I think Jamie Arnold, and you make him a reliever in October to come in to pitch big games for you this year. Let's make it happen.
The Blue Jays have, of recent history, been on a little bit of a stretch of taking college arms. Trey Savage last year. I'm going to go a college arm. My expectation is if they take one, it's Jamie Arnold, absolutely.
Yeah.
That's where I'm at.
This was also my thought.
I think there's slightly – it doesn't matter as much, but slightly more in a win-now mode. And that's
I would be shocked if Arnold falls anywhere past the following pick, if it's not
the Reds. Yes.
Because the Reds, Rhett Lauder, Chase Burns, last 2 years, the rotation is building itself. They might want to finish that off this year if they have the opportunity.
Especially with the value of Arnold.
By the way, if Vahiva Aloy falls to 19, ends up at 19, I'm going to be a very excited person because I do think it's a bat. I do think it's a bat and a talent that Mike Elias would take.
Is the pick in yet?
Here we go.
Yeah, pick is in.
Okay. I'm watching on my phone. I'm a little bit behind.
How about that?
Refresh.
Did you guys see it?
Refresh.
Yeah. JoJo Parker. It just popped up. I didn't need to. Toronto goes upside. Toronto goes upside on the shortstop. You know what? I'm looking at what we've got from a prep, where the prep shortstops are. They fall. I understand that this group of people, we have not necessarily been as high on JoJo Parker as others. But when you look at Parker, I think the ceiling is a guy like Jock Peterson, who's athletic enough to play potentially somewhere in the middle of your infield or in the corner infield spots. I don't hate the pick by any means. I now truly feel like Jamie Arnold is going to be picked next, but I don't mind the play here. I think this is an upside play for Toronto, and they feel like they're in a position to do this.
I think this could be an under slot guy. I think Arnold would be heavily over slot, so that could be a strategy for a slight fall from Arnold could be slot reasons.
JoJo Parker was the 9th ranked prospect. I don't know that this is an under slot pick. I think this is very much an on money pick for them. I just think that I'll tell you what I saw just as like a hitter and like watching him. I just think there's a lot more work to do there than I would want to take at number 8, excuse me. Like I think when I look at number 8 and knowing that you're the Blue Jays and your current shortstop is gone after this year more than likely, and then pile on top of that the fact that you have noticed in the last couple of years that your string of guys that can take that place is very, 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 very short. I'm kind of surprised you don't try and find somebody that can fill that gap in the more near future.
I think that's fair. I think that the Toronto Blue Jays are also going to be moving on from Bo Bichette. I think finding another very impact guy who you think can be in the middle infield, regardless of how young he is, I think is relatively important to them. And then I also think this goes back to the fact that I don't know that I care that he's a high school shortstop, right? They're taking JoJo Parker, in my opinion, right here because they feel like JoJo Parker's tools at the plate are going to translate to whatever they feel like his ceiling can be. And we've talked about this earlier with the Orioles and different teams. You want groups to be taking guys taking high ceiling bats or bats that they feel like are high ceiling they can develop. And if Toronto thinks they can do that, I don't think Parker's a poor pick. It's just a very interesting. This has already been interesting because teams have gone under slot and names that you didn't expect to get called have already gotten called, right?
What we expected, but yeah.
What we did, you're absolutely correct. I can't fight. JoJo Parker is the first person who's not on our top 10 big board to be taken.
Did we have him 11 to 20?
Yeah.
Yes.
Or might have 20.
We had JoJo Parker at 22 on our board.
I was gonna say I think we had him pretty low.
22 is not low. We just had him lower than most.
Lower.
Sorry, lower than top 10.
Yeah, absolutely.
Is the pick in for the Reds?
The pick is in fact in for the Reds.
I'm going to continue to guess Jamie Arnold until he gets taken because I love Jamie Arnold.
I love that.
Should be taken.
I love that.
I think this is a bad strategy.
Jamie Arnold.
I'm also going to stick with Jamie Arnold here.
Oh God. I mean, listen. If the Reds want to keep stacking pitchers, I don't think that's a bad move. I mean, there is a level at which, like, we always say pitching's available and pitching can be bought. Anybody can be bought. You just got to be willing to pay the price. Oh, we lost Ryan's video. I'm assuming purposefully.
Is he going to get a Jamie Arnold jersey or something?
You know what? I wouldn't be shocked if he went to get some jersey. Oh man, yeah,
I'm pulling up Jamie Arnold's page just so I'm ready to spew off his stats.
Okay, good. I'm curious. I'm curious in the chat what if you guys think we're gonna see Jamie Arnold go next to the Reds, or if you think he's gonna continue to slide down the board. It was funny, back half of the year he didn't have the greatest outings. I think he seemed a little bit more hittable, but I also feel like when you draft, I've said this before, like when you draft a starting college pitcher, you're not necessarily drafting for his previous results. You're drafting for his stuff and what you can do with him.
You make such a fun point, though, because who did the Reds take last year? Who did
Chase Burns?
Exact same thing. Burns was very hittable last year, even comparatively to other years that we had seen him pitch.
Yeah, and they fixed it pretty quick.
But it wasn't a fix. It was baseball becoming 100% life. All right.
Well, sure. There is that. There is that. Is the pick in? What?
I didn't see it.
Interesting.
Whoa!
Interesting.
Whoa!
Oh.
The youngest player in the draft is off the board in Steel Hall. This is high risk, high reward, ladies
Holy
and gentlemen.
smokes.
He actually reclassified from the 2026 draft down to this draft. He's a guy who has plus. He looks like a plus defender at shortstop. He's got plus speed. He's young. The bat is a little bit behind, but again, we're talking about a true 17-year-old right now. Listen, man. he wasn't extremely high on our board, and part of that is because this group is a little bit more risk averse when it comes to high school prospects. We just talked about that we had JoJo Parker early. That's not anything against his talent. It's our level of risk aversion. Steele Hall.
What just happened?
That is the Cincinnati Reds truly believing that they've got something out of this kid. Guys, another guy born in 2007 is off the board. I mean, this is...
You're making me feel old.
I love it.
You're making me feel old. These guys are younger than me.
I'm incorrect too. Willits is younger.
Willits
Steele
is
Hall.
younger.
I apologize.
I saw that the other day. If you look at the notes on Steele Hall on the MLB app, he's a 70 run. Some evaluators have him as 80 grades for certain things. I'm assuming between glove and run is my guess, but they call him a twitchy athlete. It's fascinating. If you're watching MLB Network, they're comparing him to Trey Turner.
I love that.
Which is exactly what Ryan said when we were watching him. It's not a bad comp. Feels like the kind of guy that could be across the field in a lot of different ways. If people remember, Trey Turner played center field in the big leagues for a little while there with the Nats. Just a natural athlete who works around the field very well in a lot of different ways. And, it's fascinating because I think that when you look at what he was able to do in high school, he still had 8 bombs. They said he hit 484 in 37 games, and he stole 33 bases.
871 slug.
I'm assuming he hit a lot of doubles. When I tell people that doubles are great, but doubles in high school are outs in college and easy outs in professional baseball, I'm not kidding you. Like, hitting a double in the big leagues in the gaps is one of the hardest things to do in the game. Hitting a home run, borderline, I think is easier than hitting a double in the gap in the big leagues because you're not competing with anything but a wall. Hitting a double in the gap, you're competing with 3 different outfielders, or at any time 2 different outfielders who have a chance to catch a ball. And for good outfields, not Trent Grisham in center field, most balls are going to get caught. I don't know if you guys saw Carson Kelly's double today. It had a 90% catch probability, and Trent Grisham was a good 20 feet from it when it landed.
Real quick, before this pick comes out,
yeah,
I think this is a prep shortstop.
I think I think it's Daniel Pierce or Casey Cunningham. I think it's a prep shortstop as well. I know that in this draft room in some way, shape, or form, Carlson's been thrown around too. I think that the White Sox have been targeting a prep shortstop in some way, shape, or form. So we're gonna. I think it fits their timeline a lot more to get a prep shortstop because they can afford to wait 4 years for him to come up. So yeah, I think the prep shortstop is the correct pick here and a very smart pick here.
I would be ecstatic to see it be Casey Cunningham. That's where I'm at.
I would also be ecstatic to see it be Casey Cunningham if we're talking prep shortstops. I'll tell you another guy I'd really be ecstatic to see it be, but I know it's not going to be, is Xavier Nyans. And I'm going to scream that from
you are a Xavier Nyans truther, baby.
Hold on. We're going to clip this, and we're just going to stash it away for when he does eventually get picked, and then we just see him rise through somebody's system as like an early or mid-second rounder. Xavier Nyans is one of, if not the best, prep shortstop that this class has to offer. He just doesn't get seen because he's in the Pacific Northwest and people do not think highly of that area. He is a phenomenal baseball player, and I'm really, really excited to clip that when he just starts to skyrocket.
It's gonna be fun. We've got some really, really fun picks coming up. I mean, listen, this has already been all over the place as we advertised at the beginning. A lot of guys we knew were going to be good. Up here comes Manfred for the White Sox pick.
As much as I love Arnold, I don't think it's a good pick here.
No, I don't think so either. But Arnold to the A's would be sick. JP Spears?
I'm not watching. I need someone to say it.
Carlson, a lot of tools. A lot of tools here for Carlson. Carlson is regarded as arguably the best shortstop defender in this entire class at the prep level. Carlson also boasts some very good speed, good pedigree, and he also has overall leadership tools on the field. A lot of confidence in the kid. The biggest question with Carlson continues to just be his overall ability to swing the bat at a consistent level from a high-end perspective. He definitely has hit better over the last 2 seasons as he's matured as a player. As a group here, we haven't been as high on Carlson as other prep shortstops, but it'll be really interesting to see what the White Sox are able to do with Carlson. And that is, yes, the second player drafted out of Corona High School in California already in only 10 picks.
I think this is a guy who, if he can OPS plus around the 100, 110 mark, can play in the bigs for 15 seasons with how amazing he projects defensively at shortstop. Very similar in my mind. I had a Dansby Swanson comparison. Swanson's a guy who's been around the 100 WRC plus mark the past couple of years. If Carlson can get to that mark, he could stick in the bigs for a long time with his defensive projections.
100%. Flax, tell us the downside of Carlson. You're fine to do it.
I had this conversation with you, and I think when I watch this kid, I think the thing I struggle most with is that you're not going to get a lot of you're not getting pop from his bat in the same way that you're going to potentially get it from a guy like a Kason Cunningham. And I think it's tough for me to draft a defense guy first in the top 10, let alone the first round. There are guys who have played in this league for a very long time. One of them we love, friend of the program, Jack Wilson. But Jack Wilson also told us a story where he sat down with Miguel Cabrera and he said, you're such a good hitter and you are such a good power hitter. And he's like, what do you do? Like, how do you do? And he just said it, line drives up the middle. And it's like a quick realization for him that like Miguel Cabrera could think line drives up the middle and still hit home runs the other way. Not a guy like Jack Wilson, right? If he's hitting home runs, it's when he's ahead in the count, he's cheating on pitches, and he's hitting hard fly balls to left field. That's not to say that that's a bad way to hit, because Jack Wilson was a really successful Major League Baseball player, and we love Jack. But I don't know that that's a guy I take 10th overall. And I think that's really where I land is like, you take the guy because he's going to be a perennial Gold Glover or he's going to be a perennial big leaguer for 12 years, and he's going to situate for you as a shortstop and a guy you can rely on being in the lineup day in and day out, who's going to take good at bats. He's going to put good wood on the ball, and he's going to get you a lot of singles and a lot of doubles. But again, the only knock for me is that that's not a top 10 pick. It's very much a draft pick. It's very much a high draft pick. It's not a top 10 pick in my mind.
Could have said it better myself. Again, lot of upside there. I think the biggest thing that stresses us out is Carlson is one of the guys whose ceiling is extremely high with the bat. It's also extremely low, right? And there's a level of risk reward you play in these scenarios. And welcome to the MLB draft, ladies and gentlemen. There's a reason why you may not see some of these names ever, and you'll see a lot of these names for a long time. It's not because any of these guys don't have the upside and don't have the ability. There is a long road ahead of every single one of these players, maybe outside of Tyler Bremner, who got drafted by the Angels, because he'll be up tomorrow, is what it will feel like. But everybody else will actually probably have to truly, really grind and be on minor league buses for a long time. Excited for Bremner, by the way, if anybody wanted to know. That's great. I'm excited for him to be flying on private charter jets so quickly.
All right. A's 11. Who we thinking?
A's could do anything. I've loved what they've done. They're going to go best player on their board. If they've proven one thing over the last couple of years, the Athletics will go best player on their board. Who's the best player on our board right now? Who's left? Is it Jamie Arnold?
Jamie Arnold, yeah. And then
because if I was
the next
them,
one will be Aloy.
If I was them with that ideology, there's my guy.
I think my prediction is Kyson Witherspoon right here.
Okay, we're both on the college arms train. Flax, what do you got?
I think I gotta go Jamie Arnold, right? Like, I think
Here we go.
that's in my mind. Give me Vahivo.
Jamie
Aloy.
Arnold off the board.
Good, good.
Good pick.
I like it. They went best player on the board. That's my
Yeah.
opinion. I understand
Yeah.
it's our big board, but they went best player on the board.
For sure. As they should have, right? Who's
No
left?
question.
Who's left? Who's the next best player on the board? Witherspoon.
For us, it's Aloy.
We
Well,
are
not on our
top.
board. On the MLB's top.
They'll pop it up here in a second.
Um,
I believe it's Witherspoon. Yes,
Yeah, it
I
is. It's
believe.
It's Witherspoon. 1 through 9 is gone for them, and then they have Witherspoon, Irish.
I'd be shocked if the Rangers went Witherspoon.
Can I throw? This is actually where I expect Ike Irish to go. He fits the profile of what Texas loves to take. I could see this definitely being an Ike Irish pick here. One of the things that Texas is dealing with right now is a lack of true production after that World Series with what is a very solid overall roster. Ike Irish could be an impact very quickly. We've seen them struggle a little bit with what's going on with Jake Berger and a couple other pieces that they signed this offseason. It hasn't worked out from a bat perspective. This could be an easy, quick retool for them by moving 1 or 2 guys at the deadline if they think that's what needs to happen, regardless of them trying to continue to compete, and then bringing a guy in like Ike Irish who could very well be on their roster quickly.
Let me say
A
this.
name I think could be right here is Merrick Houston, shortstop out of Wake.
Ooh.
So the only reason I would go away from Ike Irish is what's been holding them back in following up their World Series. Injuries.
Okay.
And Ike Irish struggled with some back stuff, scapula stuff. It's not. It's
It's a
I
great
don't think
call
you
out.
take that risk if you're a team that's already dealing with injuries across the board at that level.
That is a
And if you-
great call out.
And if you're thinking of possible outfielders here still, Brendan Summerhill, the range for him is starting to open up. Very fun player. Brendan Summerhill could be. I'm leaning college bat. Regardless here, I think a prep shortstop is also a candidate, but I'm leaning college bat right here.
So top prep shortstop still on the board: Kyson Cunningham, Daniel Pierce.
Yes.
Yes.
And then the next prep shortstop really on the list isn't until Tate Southseen.
Yeah, and South Scene
He's more of a utility guy across the board.
older brother got drafted. It was either last year or before. I believe his older brother's Ty. Comes from a baseball family. He was the Nevada Gatorade Player of the Year. You're talking about a lot of talent there, but the gap between him and Pierce and Cunningham, from a standpoint of most draft boards, has been relatively large. Within our draft board, and I'll show this to you guys real quick, and then we'll put the draft tracker back up. With our draft board, we have these solid lines within this draft board. This is what I would be considering is the solid line between the prep shortstop class, right? There's this big old line that changes the level of which we see each of these players. I think that's what you see in this scenario.
Yeah, I think it's been a fascinating draft. All right, here you go. Rangers
Love the
pick
pick.
is in.
That's a good pick. This kid's got some upside.
Oh,
This
yeah.
kid's got some upside.
Not wrong when we said a prep shortstop guy who was a little further down the board, but not very far down our board.
We
I think
had
him,
Feed
what,
ranked at
30th?
30.
Yep. So we
I
had him
Where did
30th,
MLB have him at?
22.
Yep. So Gavin Fiend too. Again, yeah, we've been talking about prep shortstops. He's listed at a prep shortstop. We have Gavin Fiend more as a corner infielder. We believe that he probably ends up at third base with his overall body type. He could definitely play second base as well. Again, these are very athletic young people, so there's a possibility he could absolutely stick at shortstop. I think he's going to end up profiling at either third, second, or corner outfield. But God, what you love about Fiend over everything else is the athleticism, the arm, and boy, does he have a very, very fluid and smooth swing for a righty.
I agree. I remember when we were watching film on him, he just looked like he whipped the bat through the zone. very, very good bat speed on it, which again is not everything, but the fact that he has that in the tank and is an explosive player says a lot about what he can be done on.
Yeah, I mean, I like the pick. I think he's got a really, really solid hit tool. I think it's one of those guys that when you watch him, I think my comp to him was Michael Kadire when I watched him play. For those that don't know,
Yes.
Michael Kadire was drafted as a shortstop and a pitcher. Michael Kadire played neither of those at the big league level. So these guys are generally the shortstop because they're the most athletic guy on the field at their high school. When you watch a guy like Gavin Feen, he's the kind of guy that you, like Ryan said, you could put at a corner infield position. But I like this for them. This is a unique move for the Texas Rangers. The last 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 drafts they've taken out of college. So they went out of high school for the first time since Lutheran High School out of Orange County and Cole Wynn, a right-handed pitcher, back in 2018. Now,
What is
this is a different front office.
very, very excited for Buster Posey's first pick here, or first final decision on a pick here.
Yeah.
I think Buster Posey has done nothing but make splashes. The last thing I could see this being is a money saving pick. Who we going here?
Give me the lefty.
Which lefty are we talking?
Give me Cruz.
I love that. I would love to see Cruz Schoolcraft off the
Give
board
me
right here.
Cruz. Draft
I'm going,
as a two-way, give me Cruz.
I'm going Kyson Witherspoon here.
God, that feels so safe for Buster.
That's what I'm thinking. That's what I was thinking.
The one pick I do not want for them is I do not like Ike Irish playing in that San Francisco outfield.
I like that.
Yeah. I love Ike Irish as a player, but I do not see it.
I really feel like if there was a splash from a bat perspective that Posey felt like he could make happen, he would right.
Vahiva Loy.
Listen, Golden Spikes Award winner who's been given little to zero credit over the last few
Drives me
weeks.
nuts.
Over the last few weeks, I would love to see it.
It would certainly
really
be an
would.
underslot pick,
Yeah,
right?
Yes.
Enough. Underslot enough.
I think he's going to go after it. I just don't know what go after it means for him. This is what gets really fun about the draft, guys. Once you get out of the top 10, I would tell every single person who's having an opportunity and spending some time with us that it's going to feel like things start hitting the wall, and teams are just throwing things at the wall. It's just how it works. It's a very fun process, and you're going to see names that you didn't expect to see. We're going to start seeing people make some deals so that their compensation round pick or whatever it may be are big time, and they're going to spend overslot money on those guys. It's going to be a lot of fun to see what happens here. I know Jared Carabas was hoping Fiend would find his way down to 15. Obviously, that did not end up happening.
You know, I was thinking, going back to the Jamie Arnold pick to the Athletics, I like the fact that, if I'm not mistaken, JP Sears is still going to be on contract there. Jeffrey Springs should still be on contract there. I kind of like that we're probably going to see the three of them in spring training together next year.
That's fun.
Like, I think it's a really good learning opportunity. Plus, the three of them in spring training, most likely with Dallas Braden. Feels like a
Giants
really
are
good
in. Here we
learning
go,
opportunity.
Manfred, tell
for
us
them.
more.
What? What just happened?
Giants going Gavin Keelan out of the University of Tennessee.
That's a wild pick.
He splashed.
He splashed.
This will be an interesting one. Keelan did not make our top 30 on our big board. Very good overall player, solid athlete, good left-handed swing. Flax, you watched a lot of Keelan this year. Jackson, you scouted Keelan this year at times. Guys, tell us what you think about Gavin Keelan here.
Bat to ball skill's incredible. Like, truly top line bat to ball skill. But what comes from that, power wise, it's not something you really dream on. But you know what it really reminds me of? It's very much similar to I think what we thought Joe Panic was coming into that lineup with the Giants, and found a lot more power as he matured. Now again, this guy's 21, so very likely could get into 24, 25, 26 years old, find a little bit more power, work with the swing to grow that skill. But it's very much one of those picks for me where it feels like it's going to be the potential long-term second baseman for a while for the Giants going forward as he progresses through their system. But also knowing Buster Posey, he may not move through their system that fast.
For me, Keelan was a high swing guy, a free swinger, and those guys are really, really tough to produce with. He didn't a whole lot last year, and it's tough for those guys to rack up high OPS when you're not walking, getting on base a lot. You have to slug a lot, and I think Keelan's slug was a touch too low, and his projection was a touch too low for me. I still like the bat a lot. I think a slight adjustment could help him out a lot just with his approach. But free swinger, I think he would likely second baseman, third baseman, could stick in corner outfield too.
I know I'm talking about another SEC guy, and I know there's a lot of people who may disagree with this next statement that I make, and I'm completely fine with that. But another guy that I think is very similar to Gavin Keelan, who I believe is going to be, at this point, potentially available all the way down to the third round, a lot of pedigree in this, is Caden Kent. They're a very, very similar type player,
Yep.
in my personal opinion. I think Kent's season was a little bit more of a downer simply because Texas A&M just was not good this year, and vibes were not high, and people don't totally at times, I think, understand when a team is not rolling how much it affects the bats on that team. I'm playing enough baseball in my life. I know the difference between me on a really good team and me on an average team and me on a bad team. And no, you're not supposed to play to the level of your team, but like it does affect your everyday. I look at Keelan in a similar light as I look at Kent. Now, the difference between those two is really simple. Keelan hit 357 in the SEC this year, slashing 357, 441, and 671. I know why he's getting taken higher. I just feel as if there's a potential you could get him lower via another player. It'll be interesting to see. I think Keelan's a very, very talented overall player. Posey, really hard for me to say he did something wrong. I love what he's doing there in San Francisco and his willingness to make a splash. So maybe he sees what Flax just said, as he is a guy who played with Joe Panic in those early years before his career kind of got a little bit derailed.
You know, I was thinking about this. So Vitello obviously is on MLB Network. He's one of the panelists. Between Tennessee guys that are getting taken tonight and high schoolers getting taken tonight, he might have the most visibility among anyone.
He was the right answer.
Like he probably has the most visibility of anyone on the board just because of how heavily they recruit and how many of these guys that are going high were committed to Tennessee.
Or even like SEC players he watched play.
Yep. Absolutely. Across the board, this is like, it's funny. We never asked Zuniga about Bremner, but I would be curious to hear his take because I'm sure he's not shocked that he got taken as high as he did, having seen him pitch in person against his guys and just how devastating some of his stuff could be. I was just thinking about that off the top of my head.
Let's rotate to 14 here. Tampa Bay, one of the known pitching factories in the MLB. Do we see them going one of these high-end high school lefties that's still available in a Bauer or a Schoolcraft? Do we think they go with Kyson Witherspoon, expecting the ability? Where do they go with this pick?
I think they go hitter.
You already saw it. Really? Is it on Twitter?
Yeah.
All right.
What they go with?
I'm not. No. See, Flax, You asked the question you're not allowed to ask. We'll find out this.
Yeah, I checked Twitter right after the Keelan pick and it was already up.
I'm gonna go. They're taking an arm. I want to see it happen. Let's find out.
I think they're gonna take a prep shortstop. I think they're gonna take Pierce.
Wow! Good job, Flax. Okay.
Thank you.
Daniel Pierce.
I'm starting to catch on. We're 14 picks in, and I'm starting to pick up what the league's putting down.
It's fine.
I
already
love
said
this one,
15
man. We're
too.
big fans of Daniel Pierce on this podcast. He's got a swing you can really dream on. There's definitely a lot more pop in the bat. From an over, Flax's favorite plays coming up, where you see the first baseman drop a ball here on MLB Network.
You're gonna show it, dude. I don't understand.
Here it is. It's right here.
Just cut the
Ready?
video.
Oh, they didn't show the portion. Either way, Pierce, excellent swing. He's the type of guy who's similar to Gavin Feen. There's nothing he really does poorly on a baseball field. The next piece for Daniel Pierce is to really see that power consistently show up. But very athletic build, fast. He's got an awesome swing. He's got one of the firmest, once it really gets into it, front sides. Once he hits the absolute power position of his swing, I like what Pierce brings to the table.
I'm not as high on him as two of the other prep shortstops, but I do like what he brings to the table. I love his swing. It's very short to the ball. He doesn't spend a lot of time making a lot of movements, which I think will translate really well. He's pretty smooth at the shortstop position. I like his footwork more than anything. He keeps his glove very quiet. They just showed him next to Bobby Witt Jr.
I know.
Crazy. Who would have ever said that?
We might have also made that comp in his swing, but hey.
It's the same thing. It is short, compact, with a ton of power behind it because it's so insanely quick, which again translates quickly. But the reason I said Daniel Pierce was because they just bought Ha-Seong Kim, but at the same time, this is a team that needs to refill their shortstop pipeline. It's very clear they gave money to the guy that they thought was going to be the shortstop for a very long time. Obviously, we know how that all panned out. They made a good choice this year to set themselves up for future success. But the reality of the situation is you got to draft shortstops when you have shortstops because sometimes things change. I always say this. The Yankees drafted shortstops when they had Derek Jeter playing shortstop for 20 years. You don't not draft shortstops. You just put them in other places when they end up being as good as you want them to be. Robbie Cano was a shortstop. They went and got Alex Rodriguez. Like, across the board, they very well, obviously had all these different, had these other guys. But when I look at a guy like Daniel Pierce, I think he's a really good pick for them. That's a really good developmental organization. Going young is really good in the way they work.
Any guesses on the Red Sox? The top guys left on our board are Wahiva Aloy, Cruz Schoolcraft, and Kyson Witherspoon.
I'm going Witherspoon right here.
You like Witherspoon here? Okay.
With her fork or with her spoon? Sorry, had to do it.
I'm going Witherspoon right here.
Okay.
I think that's pretty likely.
I think
you want to know why I'm going Witherspoon? Here's why. Witherspoon has the shorter arm slot. It actually fits what the Red Sox tend to do with their pitchers. We've seen them do it with Lucas Giolito. We've seen them do it with Cutter Crawford. I think he actually fits how they currently develop starting pitchers. They do tend to like that shorter arm slot. For those who are not familiar with it, the guys that I would express are like that are Shane Bieber, again, on the Red Sox, Lucas Giolito, Cutter Crawford. It's this shorter arm slot that they're coming from. Red Sox are used to it. Witherspoon fits that. And if they don't go there, I would think top bat on their board. Who at this point I'm not.
This is an interesting pick though because it is Craig Breslow's first.
It Craig's Breslow? It is his first, right?
Second. He was there last year.
Was he there last year for the draft? Okay.
So it's
Who did they take last year?
No, Heimblum got fired last year.
No.
2 years ago?
Craig Breslow was there last year.
Oh, okay.
Because I started watching the Red Sox documentary, which took place last year, and Craig Breslow was in it.
I'm curious how much John Henry sticks himself in these decisions, because John Henry very much was clearly a part of a lot of the offseason moves that happened with the Red Sox. John Henry being the principal owner for those.
It will definitely be interesting.
But this is a fascinating pick because they could go a lot of different directions here.
It's Riley Quick time. I'm in.
Is that what you're thinking, or that's what you saw?
No, I think it's gonna be Witherspoon. I just want it to be Riley Quick.
Oh.
I want him to go to the Rays secretly because that would just be so much fun.
And for all the picks that get spoiled on Twitter, none of us, other than looking at our own chat, if you'd like to interact with us, are paying any attention to that portion of things. So just give everybody a heads up there.
There it is.
Wow, didn't
As
get that one
expected.
wrong.
That one felt like a layup, right?
Listen, it better have been a layup for us, right? At this point, I think we were there. He fits, right? We knew he fits.
Yeah.
I love what they've done here. The Red Sox are consistently looking for what they know they do well. And for everybody watching the draft right now, you're going to see the little bit of the shorter arm angle that I mentioned. This is something that they have developed very well of recent. One of the things I love about the shorter arm slot, and one of the things that I think makes Witherspoon that much more effective, is the fact that he hides the ball so well. He legitimately has 4 pitches that he can move around, 2 going each direction. This is a guy who has a high upside, but my opinion, he also has a very high floor. I think at worst, as long as there's good health, knock on wood, we want that for everybody. I think at worst, Witherspoon's a 5. But the pitchability here, the time he spent with USA Baseball, the time he spent at Oklahoma, the time he spent in summer leagues, this is a guy who truly knows how to pitch.
Yep.
And I'm very, very excited to see, how this goes.
Yeah. I mean, I think it fits. I think it absolutely fits.
I agree. I think it's a guy. Yeah.
Go for it. You're the pitching guy. I want to hear your thoughts more than I want
I
to hear
think
what
it's a guy who. I think the pitchability is really high. I think it's a guy who is a back end arm pretty soon with upside potential to be an ace. I think he has higher pitchability than some of the college arms taken ahead of him, including Doyle, including Arnold. But I think the stuff isn't as electric as those two guys. But sometimes stuff doesn't always win games. Witherspoon could be a guy who 2 years from now could give you 6 innings of 2-run ball pretty easily, maybe just strike out 5 guys. But like I said, I think the pitchability is pretty high with Witherspoon.
So, I wanna go through the list of GMs that are former Major League Baseball players because there's not a lot of them. Craig Breslow, Red Sox. Chris Young, Rangers. Chris Getz, White Sox. Buster Posey, Giants. Billy Beane, A's. They will draft what they know early on in their career. Craig Breslow drafting a pitcher and the highest one left on the board is a layup because this is what is comfortable. This is what he knows he feels comfortable assessing individually. This is what he knows he feels comfortable being able to develop a plan for. This is something that he feels like he can put himself in the shoes of. Very differently than if he goes and gets an outfielder or a shortstop. Now, that's not the same case for a guy like a Billy Beane who's been doing this forever. Chris Young, I think, is getting over the hump in my mind of looking at something that's a little bit less comfortable. Like I said before, they don't tend to go outside the realm of college kids, and they did that this year. But when you look at some of these things, Buster Posey might be one of the few in my mind that's really going to go and have his own opinion outside of the breadth of what he knows and what he's kind of done.
What do we? I totally agree with you. I think it's life experience.
Yep.
Right. It's life experience, and I think that's a reason why this makes a lot of sense. I think it's a good pick for them. Again, I just think he fits. What the Twins are historically all across the board. The Twins are another team that tends to take best player on their board, which I do love. We've seen them take the likes of Royce Lewis. We've seen them take the likes of Byron Buxton. They've also gone out of the college ranks, taking a guy like Brooks Lee. Who do we think? I'm going to phrase it this way. Who do we think is the top player on the Twins board right now?
I think it's Merrick Houston.
All right, here we go. We're going to get the pick.
Wow, come on, baby. Look at you go, Jackson.
Merrick Houston, we continued to be higher and higher on Merrick Houston as the draft process went on. Probably and potentially the best all-around shortstop in this draft coming out of Wake Forest. A guy who has done a lot of improving when it comes to his overall slug tool specifically, as he is a guy who's always had good bat-to-ball skills. Excited for this one, boys.
Did we almost had that one on the dot?
We had Merrick Houston ranked 14th overall, and we had Daniel Pierce ranked 15th overall. Relatively close here. Again, this is a big board, though, right? This is just our best player on the board.
I will say behind Arquette, I am shocked that this is the first college shortstop off the board.
I'm not.
I love Merrick Houston. I think he's got the quickest hands of any of those guys. Like the hit tool's insane. But I just think when you look at SEC bias and expectation, I'm still shocked that the guy who won the Golden Spikes Award and was the Golden Spikes Award finalist, Vahiva Aloy and Alex Lodis, still being held as low as they are is surprising to me.
I think from what I looked into it, Houston is less of a free swinger, less chase, less whiff than Aloy and Lotus both had. So I'm guessing that's why people had Houston a lot higher than those two guys. So I'm very much not surprised to see Houston go there. I think Aloy had a little bit of trouble breaking balls this year compared to some. So, yeah, I still love Aloy. I think he's going to be a great player, but I was not as surprised to see Houston go ahead of both of them.
All right, I'm gonna take a big swing at this one here. Okay, no info, no nothing. Caden Bodine, right here to the Chicago Cubs. feels early. It's not early. Here it comes. It's my guess.
I actually love that because the fact that like I don't love their catching pipeline at the moment, and
I'll take another shot with you. I'm going Gage Wood right here.
I'll go. I'll go Brendan Summerhill.
Ooh, big bat. Okay.
That's a bat. Okay. That's a bat that will be ready somewhat soon. This is a fascinating pick. Who in that room's making that pick? By the way,
I have no clue.
Right.
I also want to again say
PCA.
that PCA's making the pick. Hell yeah.
I'd let him. You kidding me?
I'd let PCA marry my unborn daughter. It's just what it is.
Easy now.
Come on, it's
still family friendly.
So I think it is worth mentioning too. The last couple of guys in our top 15 on the big board who are still available are Wahiva Aloy, Cruz Schoolcraft, and Ike Irish.
Casey Cunningham.
And Casey Cunningham, I'm sorry. There's 4 steals to be had here. And I'm not only just saying that because that's our big board and we trust our evaluation skills here on Baseball and Stitch.
What were the numbers you were saying in our top 15?
Yeah.
Those are the only 4 guys left in our top.
I was going to
15.
say Xavier Nines is still there at 20
top
on
20.
Our board.
Well, you're going to talk about Xavier Nines until he gets drafted, so we're not stressed about that one.
I'll do the Jamie Arnold methodology that Jackson was going with. I think I might just say.
That's all right. I'm about to start talking about Riley Quick and not stop till he gets drafted. So don't worry.
All right.
Oh,
so because we're going to be.
I've only got 6 more minutes with you guys.
Right. Because we're going to be losing Flax soon. Flax.
It is my wedding anniversary tonight. So the draft is very important to me, but my marriage is also very important to me.
So Flax, you got to give us your thoughts right now on where you think your Baltimore Orioles are going to go. I actually think this has worked out relatively well for you guys.
I don't know, man. I told you before the show that I think if Aloy is still there, I wouldn't be like shocked to see him get taken just because he's a strong college bat and they like to develop hitters. I think for sure it's not going to be a pitcher. But I mean, listen, if Casey Cunningham's still on the board, I wouldn't hate it. I would not hate another prep shortstop. But again, Xavier Nines, ranked 25th on the board overall. Would not be shocked to see Mike Elias take another. Mike Elias loves left-handed bats. He loves athletic shortstops, and he generally goes with college players, which is why I'm leaning Eloy or Lodis. But I don't think Nines is out of the question. But if it's a pitcher,
That's shocking. That is a shocking
huh?
pick a little bit.
So
Over
again,
Summerhill.
So I wasn't wrong that it was an outfielder. I was really I was banking on them taking the highest
That was a
outfielder
good
on the
shot.
board besides Ike Irish.
We had Conrad ranked we had Conrad ranked 36th in our top 41. This was a guy who was very interesting. His hit tool is extremely good. Injuries have derailed him of recent. There's some upside here. Also believe that this is the Cubs potentially saving a little bit of money and looking to spend it on somebody that they think they can keep from going to college in the later rounds of this draft.
I think it's a guy who walks a lot, doesn't strike out. I think that power still has some places to go. Was a center fielder at Wake Forest, so can play the outfield pretty well. I don't mind the pick there at all. And I agree with Ryan. This could be very much an underslot guy where they could turn around and back it up later.
They've got another pick tonight, yeah?
Yes. So this is where I wanted to go before they
Or
were
not
walking
not
up.
tonight, but do they have a comp?
You have to double check. I don't.
You're the one on the board. Will you just swap over to the? There it is. Keep going down. No, they don't. Okay. So they don't pick.
The Cubs pick again at 56.
That's what I was curious about. Again, while we wait for the Diamondbacks, we do want to just thank everybody who's joined our live and is still with us and enjoying our live. I apologize that I'm going to have to leave a little bit early, but you guys are in good hands. You guys are in good hands. Don't worry.
So another thing too, before Flax leaves and we finish up talking about the Baltimore Orioles while he's here. Baltimore Orioles have 4 picks tonight. So there is a point to be made here that though it's not always the strategy, we have seen Elias and the Orioles do it before. This could very well be a pick where you see the Orioles go under slot in order to make the absolute most, in their opinion, of the other 3 picks that they have tonight, acquiring one of those picks at 37.
My brother just goes, considering the way the Orioles are running through catchers, they may need to just pick Bodine so they have another one for next week.
Here we go, Diamondbacks. That's funny.
Oh, that is funny. Who do we got?
Let's go! Let's go!
There he is.
Payson Cunningham off the board.
Okay.
Absolute sweet swinging lefty. This is a guy who I think has fallen slightly because of his 5'10 frame. I think he's as good of a defender as most shortstops in this draft with versatility, and his left-handed swing is absolutely beautiful. The contact skill is excellent. This is a steal. A steal at 18 for them.
This reminds me a lot of their first-round pick last year, Slade Caldwell, prep outfield bat, another shorter guy. He's an outfielder, shorter guy, though, left-handed bat, sweet swing. I think those are 2 very similar picks. I think they saw Corbin Carroll being a smaller guy, mashing, and decided they wanted every single one of those guys available. But, yeah, I think that's a great pick by the Diamondbacks there.
Yeah. MLB pedigree. Father played professional baseball. This is a guy who I think really, really is going to be a key figure for them down the stretch. If you're watching right now, take a look at this slow-mo swing that they're... Oh, well, they decided not to show the rest of the swing. That's disappointing. Either way, Flax, any notes before we lose you?
No, you're gonna lose me as soon as this Orioles pick gets made, and I'm very curious who I think it's gonna be. I just would be shocked if they took a pitcher now, knowing that they pick again at 30 and 31, and my expectation is there's going to be a good college arm still on the board that they're gonna like before that happens.
My prediction right here is they go under slot and take Andrew Fisher.
I wouldn't be shocked by Fisher.
That fit.
Fisher was high for me, but that was also where Alex Lodis fit for me. Lodis was my underslot pick. As like my on slot was Aloy, my underslot was Lodis or Nyans. And the only reason I thought Nyans was because they've got so many guys that having a guy that takes a little longer and goes further out makes a little more sense than a guy who's more ready to play sooner rather than later, just considering where they're at in the window and where they're at longer term. But we'll see. I mean, it says the pick is in, so we'll see who it ends up being. I would just be so shocked if it's
I accidentally saw it.
You gotta get off of Twitter, Jackson.
I do. I'm sorry.
I'm excited for this. This will be a fun pick.
Jackson, am I wrong? Is it a pitcher?
You'll find out.
He's not telling you.
I'm
just
not
like
telling
we said.
you. I had the joy finding out Liam Doyle at 5. You have the joy finding out whoever you take at 19.
I had
Yeah,
to
I already
wait
did it
the
with
whole
Willits.
time. I
Don't
thought it
play
wasn't
this
even
game.
going to stay on the live long enough to see it.
Well, then we would have texted it to you.
Ugh.
Come
It's so
on,
funny.
Orioles.
It's so funny because, like, my brother just said, like, people are going to freak out if they go with a shortstop again. But, like, I think people just see shortstop and they think that they're, like, getting a guy to replace Gunnar. And they just immediately assume they have no plans to extend Gunnar. And it's like, no, you just pick an athlete so that the athlete can play anywhere on the field for you.
Defensive versatility.
Yep. Summerhill, maybe. Summerhill would not be shocking either.
I'm leaning towards underslot college bat here for sure. That's just my opinion because they have so many picks tonight that I think that that's the goal. Nobody has this many picks. Here he comes. Manfred, say something Flax likes.
You might just see me hit the leave button immediately. I actually do need to go, so this pick needs to get made. Come on, Manfred.
Oh, I just saw it.
Oh, Ike Irish. I don't hate that. So they didn't go under slot.
They did not go under slot. They
But I wasn't wrong. I wasn't wrong again with my late thought of Summerhill that it was going to be an outfielder.
Yeah, I know they have him profiling as catcher. We do on the Baseball and Stitch podcast expect Ike Irish to be a corner outfielder, DH, moving down the line.
Potentially first base as well.
Yes, 100%.
Yeah,
Flax,
the Orioles
final
don't have enough
thoughts
of
before
those.
you leave us.
What?
No final thoughts before you leave us?
Oh, I didn't hear you. I talked over you. No, I mean I like the pick. It's not, again, it follows everything I talked about. He's a left-handed bat. He's a college player. The only thing I was shocked by was that he didn't go under slot, considering how many picks they have tonight, and go with more of a versatile player like a shortstop. But Ike Irish is a really good bat. Again, they have him here as a catcher. More than likely, he's going to be a versatile all-around the field type of guy, and I'm fine with that. I think it's a good pick. It's not going to happen, but if Caden Bodine found his way to 30 or 31, would not be unhappy. Or Xavier Nyans did, also wouldn't be unhappy. But that's where I think you're going to see a Gage Wood or a Riley Quick go to the Orioles.
Riley Quick.
If Riley Quick is there still, would not be shocked to see a Riley Quick go to the Orioles. I wouldn't be upset. I would be surprised if they went with anyone lower than Patrick Forbes going for an arm. So that's what I'll leave you with. I got to leave. But again, thank you to everybody joining. You're still going to get Jackson and Ryan and their thoughts, and hopefully we still have a good draft. And then new episode coming out from Ryan and I on Tuesday, recapping the draft or a good portion of the draft and a couple other players we want to talk about and some other conversation. So keep your eye out and go listen to episodes that exist already because you guys will enjoy them. Just go give it a try. Go give it a try. All right. See you guys.
Have a good evening, Flax. All right, you guys are stuck with us for the rest of the night, like Flax said. Thank you so much for joining us here on our live draft show via Baseball Unstitched. I am Ryan Mallinger. That is Jackson Scudder. For those of you who don't know, Jackson does data analytics for ETSU, and frankly, I've been watching baseball since I came out of the womb, and this is just what we do. Both had an opportunity to play at different levels, but we're here to hang out with you guys, talk to you about how we feel about this draft, where people have fallen on our board, and how we move forward. If you haven't already, go ahead, like, follow, subscribe. We'd love to have you as part of the family, and take a listen, as Flax said, to the podcast, which is our long forum type of media. Past that, Jackson, we're moving on to Milwaukee here at 20, another group that has a very all-over-the-place draft strategy, which really just comes down to they love taking the best player on their board. What are we seeing here for Milwaukee, and where do you think they could go?
I have two names, Crew Schoolcraft, Vahiva Aloy. I think it'll be one of those two. I think Vahiva Aloy I can very much see him playing for Milwaukee. And then Crew Schoolcraft, I think Milwaukee loves their pitchers as well. I think that would be a great pick.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of options here across the board for Milwaukee. They're doing a great job right now showing you guys Milwaukee is going to take, I believe, 3 players tonight. They're another group that you could see potentially go under slot simply to try to maximize and leverage their draft pool money at the highest capabilities here. I like the 2 names that you threw out. I think I do want to throw one more out because I know he's a little bit lower on everybody's boards here, but I could see us getting into the range of where Quentin Young starts to come up into people's conversations. You're talking about one of the best power tools in this draft. He's a guy that you can dream on. Once again, 6'6" frame, has baseball lineage in his blood, and the swing is just beautiful. A guy who can also play corner outfield, third base, and potentially second base as well, even at the large size of 6'6". We'll see what happens there. I believe Manfred was going to walk out, but maybe he's not. So we will find out who goes next. Jackson, favorite player left on the board?
Easy one for me, Riley Quick. I've been on the Riley Quick train for a long time now. 5-pitch guy, offensive tackle in high school, knows how to move, pitcher from Alabama. I love Riley Quick. I think we're still not going to see his name called for a little bit, but Riley Quick's my favorite player left.
I love it. There we go. Andrew Fisher off the board. Flax is going to be sad he wasn't here for this one. This is some of the most premier pop that you could possibly take out of the college level. Yes, he played in a little smaller ballpark at Tennessee. Biggest knock on Fisher is, well, Fisher's up there to do one thing and one thing only, ladies and gentlemen, and that's swing and swing really friggin' hard to elevate the ball pull side. Jackson, I know he's a guy from an analytic perspective people like. Explain to people why.
Fisher swings really hard, but my favorite part about Fisher is the strikeouts aren't where you think they are. Didn't strike out as much last year, didn't chase as much. The thing we talked about with him, he knows when to do his damage and when to swing as hard as possible to try to hit as far as he can. I think he's a fun player. I really like Andrew Fisher. He's got a violent swing. He plays the game he plays pissed off sometimes. And I love players who do that. I really like Andrew Fisher. I knew he was going to be a guy who had the potential to be an under-slot guy in around this range. I think that's a great pick for Milwaukee.
Yeah, and we had Andrew Fisher ranked at number 21 on our board, so he ends up falling into right around the area we expected him to from an overall player standpoint. He was ranked number 29 overall in this class by MLB.com. Listen, I love taking guys with pop, but what I do like about Fisher is he does fit the new attack angle is maybe the best way that I should put it when you look at things analytically. I'm not, as you know, though I am an analytical leaning person, I don't always agree with the whole let's just pull the ball in the air. Andrew Fisher is the type of guy who pulls the ball in the air the right way. He's the type of guy who I do think could potentially end up being a 3 true outcomes player. However, you've got 30 plus home run pop in this bat. He's a guy who has played corner infield and can definitely play corner outfield for you if you need him to. Fun left-handed bat to watch here moving forward.
I got a name. That's Prince Fielder right there. That's the next Prince Fielder.
Next Prince Fielder at 6'1", 210. That's love that. I love. Listen, if you told Andrew Fisher right now that the Jackson Scudder comp was Prince Fielder, he'd be hyped. Who wouldn't be?
Prince Fielder's a similar guy with just a violent swing who could pull the ball very far. I think Fisher similarly fits that.
100%. I asked you right before that pick who your favorite guy on the board was. Left, you said Riley Quick. I'm going to stick with my guns here, and I know he is, yeah, at this point, the second highest guy left on our board. That's Cruz Schoolcraft. I can't get over the fluidity in his motion from the left side as just a high school prep pitcher. He also has legitimate big league upside with the bat. It'll be really fun to see what happens at 6'8", throwing mid 90s with ease right now from the left side. Though I think he might want to, and I hope he does. I'm hard pressed to believe he's going to do anything but be on the mound. But Schoolcraft, very, very good player. There'd be a lot of people who would hate to see the Astros take him right here.
Astros, I think Vahiva Loy's another one here with the Crawford box
The
on the
Jeremy
left.
Pena stuff going too. Yeah.
Yeah, I think Aloy would play great to the Crawford box to the left. Potentially could play third, could play second, could play corner outfield. Obviously can stick at shortstop. But yeah, it could be a bunch of different ways. Cruz Schoolcraft is another very fun name here.
Yeah, Golden Spikes Award winner in Wahiva Aloy. There was a lot of it was publicized heavily about his defensive mishaps of recent. Those defensive mishaps tended to come on in high leverage situations on national television. Unfortunately for him, I don't 100% know that Aloy is going to end up staying at short. I think he has the tools to do it, but he's the type of guy where when he ends up as a power hitting second baseman or a power hitting corner infielder, you're getting everything that you wanted still out of him. He's a guy who has pop to both sides of the field, all fields across the board. Hoping he gets taken soon because I'm a big fan. It feels weird having a goal.
I love his fit coming up here at the next pick after the Astros. That's all I'll say.
Oh, who wouldn't like him for the Braves? I got a lot of friends in Braves country who would love to see a Wahiva Aloy be drafted by the Atlanta Braves. I'm wondering if Houston's going to go ahead or if Manfred's going to come and walk out and tell us what Houston wants to do here. We'll find out. That's for sure. Teams coming up here: Jackson, Atlanta, Kansas City, Detroit. Oh, here comes Manfred. Oh, Flax's guy is off the board and he's not even here. Xavier Nyans. Wow.
Is it Flax right now?
You want to talk about another potential steal from a baseball and stitch perspective here? We had Nyans ranked at 20 on our board. He has a beautiful left-handed swing. One of the biggest things that's hurt Nyans is Nyans wanted to stay home for his high school ball. He's a guy who had an opportunity to play in California, Texas, Florida, and he stayed home in the state of Washington and absolutely mashed. Flax's comp to him, obviously not here right now. He looks at Nyans and sees a guy who could potentially swing the bat like a Corey Seager at his ceiling. I see it in the swing as well. He's another athlete. Again, it's hard for me to sit here and say he's going to 100% stick at shortstop, but he has the athleticism and arm to play a lot of different positions on the diamond. The Astros, this is right up their alley.
Yeah, MLB.com has them at a 65 power grade. You do not see them hand those out like candy. This is a guy who has 30-plus homer pop. And I think he could fit right in that Astros lineup. They're really good about bringing guys up at the right time and putting them in low stress positions because of the amount of power and the amount of hitters they have around them. I think that's a great pick by the Astros.
Yeah, I think there's a lot of people in Houston who miss King Tuck, and they might have just taken the next King Tuck. I mean, Nyans has some awesome upside. Very excited to see where they go with that. Atlanta, Kansas City, Detroit. Give me your best fit for one of those three teams.
Elena just said it. Vahiva Aloy, love that fit there. Obviously, I think he's probably best player available right now on most people's boards. For Kansas City, I think an outfielder. I think Jace Lavalette would be. I think Kansas City would be a fit for him that would not surprise anyone. And then for the Tigers now at 24, I think a pitcher. I think Patrick Forbes would be a good fit there.
I love that. I love that. I love that. I love that. I think I see three teams that have totally different avenues for them to walk through here. I definitely think Atlanta is in a retool scenario right now. So seeing them take one of these college bats that's available feels like the next move for them. Taking Cam Caminiti last year in the draft in the first round, he's looking really good at the lower levels. However, a guy who's 18 years old. The major league team for Atlanta is starving for a true spark plug next year outside of Acuna and a couple of guys to get healthy. I would love to see them take one of the college bats that's still available. Summerhill would make a lot of sense for me here. I agree with you that we could see a guy like, oh, I'm sorry, you said Summerhill. I could see a guy like Max Ballou in this spot as well for Atlanta. Kansas City, I think that's all around the board here. They're a team who, again, we've talked about it. Everybody's draft philosophies are different. I don't feel that I've ever seen Kansas City take anybody due to positional needs within their organization. That's a spot for me where I see them taking the highest upside guy. Their history in taking high school pitchers has not always been great in the first round. So let me get a college pitcher or a high upside high school bat. Quentin Young, Gage Wood, Riley Quick. You could see any of those names coming off the board for Kansas City from where I sit. And then finally, the Detroit Tigers. Talk about a team that has just gone nuts over the last couple of years. Very excited to see what they do here. To me, they are in the spot where a high upside high schooler should be right up their alley. I'm not going to sit here and tell you who I think that is right now. Again, I'm going to keep going back to a guy like Quentin Young because I'm just expecting that talent to be taken off the board sooner than later. There are some high schoolers who we were not as high on that are still available by MLB.com standards, and Josh Hammond, Sean Gamble, and Tate Southern. Oh, I can't say his name right. Southenstein?
Yeah, Southenstein.
Oh, I got it right. And then, of course, Slater DeBurn. So it's going to be fun to see what happens here next. I think, again, we are so far out of the realm of obvious at this point. A lot of teams are going to be doing things that may or may not make sense to you when it happens. They may not make sense to us when it happens. Thank you again for spending your draft with us, guys. Hoping to see Atlanta take what we expect to be a college bat who can get to the major league level relatively quickly. I'm also going to stick on Wahiva Aloy right here. He just fits the need too well.
Agree. Another guy that, Ryan, I know you're very high on, left-handed high school pitcher Jack Bauer. You want to talk about him a little bit? I know you love him, Jack Bauer. We had him a lot higher than most.
Bauer is an absolute arm to dream on. You have a lefty who's thrown harder than any lefty we've ever seen out of high school who touched 102. He's a left-handed pitcher who actually has low, what I would guess will be low extension numbers once he gets to the next level. Oh, the Braves going upside on their pick. They went the exact opposite route that Jackson and I expected them to go. Tate Southenstein, this is a guy whose brother was recently drafted, I believe, a year ago in. Ty Southenstein, the Gatorade Nevada Player of the Year. The comp from a swing perspective that Flax had on him was a guy like Bobby Witt Jr., does just about everything well on the baseball field. Excited to see what this guy does. He has a very interesting starting position. I'm curious to see if that does or does not change as he moves forward. I'm also curious to see if this is I don't see this being an underslot deal. I think that the Braves are going to have to pay him every single dollar to keep him from going to college.
Agreed. And this is another guy, when we watched him play, the Witt comparison I love because he just played explosive. Swung hard, swung quick. I believe that he grades out. We have him at a 60 grade run. Runs fast. He just plays explosive, and those guys you can dream about those guys for days at a time. This is a guy who can be a 2020 guy if everything pans out properly. I think it's a fun pick for the Braves, and I agree. This is a guy they're probably gonna have to spend almost every dime of that slot to get him.
Yeah, 100%. The guy you're keeping from going to college. He is so long and through the zone. It's something that I find very impressive. That type of swing is extremely conducive to really good backspin on the baseball. Southern Scene is listed at 5'11", 180. I think there's some room in that body to fill out, but an absolute athlete who's going to be able to play all across the diamond. Atlanta's going to have their true pick of where he ends up playing. Kansas City, 3 minutes on the clock. Their pick is already in. We, again, have only a couple guys who are left. Two of them that we really are, a couple guys left in our top 20. Three guys now. We got Alex Lodis at number 16, Cruz Schoolcraft at number 11, and Wahiva Aloy at number 7. Oh, I'm sorry. We also have Brendan Summerhill at 18. Yeah. So I'm curious to see where people are going, guys. This is no longer something that our big board will follow because everybody is going to have their own thoughts. Some other names for you guys to keep in mind as we keep moving here. Again, Riley Quick out of Alabama, Caden Bodine out of Coastal Carolina, arguably the best catcher in this entire draft. Gage Wood, you all know him from his 19K no-hitter in the College World Series. However, Wood has one of the most explosive fastballs in the entire draft. Quentin Young, probably and potentially the highest raw power grade for me in this entire draft. A 6'6", free-swinging right-hander with lineage at the Major League level. Jackson, tell everybody a little bit more about Patrick Forbes, whose name we expect to get called here sooner than later.
One of the only guys in this draft I got to watch in person. The fastball is electric. Touched 100 when I watched him pitch. Was up to 96, 97 late into the game. The slider is also a very good pitch as well. Just a two-pitch pitcher at most right now. But when I was watching him play, there was a couple scouts nearby, and they were saying this is a guy you can dream of. This is a guy you can dream of in a couple of years as a 3-4 pitch pitcher, sitting 98, 99, 100. Forbes is such a fun pitcher, and I think his floor could be a pretty high leverage reliever.
Totally agree. There is a lot of arms that we're going to see taken off the board as we move through this first round. You're going to hear us talk a little bit about the fact that their floors are high leverage relievers. A lot of that is very simple. There's a ton of guys right now in this draft who have excellent fastballs. However, those fastballs are not necessarily backed up with currently elite offerings. You've seen a lot of those guys who have 2 to 3 elite offerings already off the board. The question always ends up becoming, can these major league teams help them develop another offering, or do they stay a 2-pitch pitcher and end up being high leverage relievers at the major league level or just overall relievers at the major league level? Lot of good left to be had. I don't know here, Jackson. I'm already at a loss. I'm not sure I have any idea where Kansas City is going to go.
Yeah, I'm perplexed. I had Summerhill in my brain for a while, but then thinking maybe they wanted to go under slot. So a name like Max Ballou, a name like Riley Quick is 2 potential options. I have no idea where Kansas City can go here. Could go a high potential high school guy as well, like a Cruz Schoolcraft.
We're going to keep talking about Cruz Schoolcraft till he goes. That's a guy that we're extremely high on here on Baseball Unstitched. And keep in mind, they're going to have to sign him away from Tennessee, right? There's a possibility that he just decides he wants to go to Tennessee and the number that people would need to pay him is high. But we are going to find out. Kansas City at the number 23rd overall pick. IMG Academy scores another first-round draft pick in Sean Gamble. Gamble, again, guys, another one of those elite toolsy high schoolers. We were not as high on Gamble as others. He does boast a 6'1" frame, and he's another guy in the draft that when people look at him from an overall standpoint, he's considered a average to slightly above average player in all facets of the game. I like the left-handed swing from Gamble. I think that we just personally liked other left-handed swings a little bit better than him from an overall standpoint. On the Bus Big Board, Gamble came in at 37 of the 41 players that we put together. Again, high upside, great contact skill, very fast overall player. Excited to see what he can do. Currently committed to Vanderbilt University.
I think that's a fun player for Kansas City. This is a guy who I think projects to be a super utility of sorts, listed on MLB.com as a second baseman / outfielder. I wouldn't be surprised if this is a guy who could play second, some third, some corner outfield. Definitely could be a super utility. And like you said, does everything above average, which kind of fits that mold of utility guy, but I think he has potential to have some pop in that bat too.
100%. We are more than likely here sooner than later as well going to see them. And we currently, I don't have the volume on, so I don't know any of the analysis that's being dropped right now by the panel. However, it won't surprise me if you've heard them bring up the Bryson Stott comp for Gamble. I think it's a very fair comp. Stott being another one of those guys who has a very high contact skill. The question is, can we get him to put the play in hard? And Detroit was just ready to pick. Here we go. Detroit went pretty far off of the board for us. I don't believe that we have a ton on Yost, and we'll be the first ones to tell you we don't have a ton on Yost. This is one of those
rated.
Go ahead.
MLB.com has him rated at 50, a shortstop from Sickles, Florida, committed to Florida, grades out as a higher tool hit guy, 55 tool hit, 40 tool power. That's left-handed hitting shortstop. Looks like he has elite contact skills from what I'm reading on him right now. Potentially a guy who can hit 300, 320. Not sure if he can stick at shortstop, but elite bat-to-ball skills is kind of the vibe I'm getting off of him right now.
Yeah, first thing that I look at, too, is we're talking about a 6 foot, 170-pound frame. When you do see him taking BP swings and some of the video that they're showing of him on the MLB draft feed. How about that? Show. I don't know why I can't speak. You do see a guy who could definitely fill out, but he has a very smooth left-handed swing. It will be interesting to see what happens here. Listen, I will be the last person in the world to question the Detroit Tigers organization with what they've done the last couple of seasons. Should end up being, hopefully, a very good pick for him. Again, ranked number 50 even on MLB.com's draft board. Curious to see if this is a little bit of an underslot deal for him, if they think they can get him, or if, again, we just didn't know that his number was high enough that this just made sense for them to go ahead and grab him now. San Diego, Philly, Cleveland coming up shortly here. And then I believe, Jackson, correct me if I'm wrong, we're going to move to the first compensation round after Cleveland.
Yes, I believe so. Not 100% sure if you want to go check.
Here we go. Manfred with the Padres pick. Let's go! There he is. Cruz Schoolcraft is off the board. San Diego steals him from everybody who did not pick him.
I think that's a great fit, San Diego, for him. An organization that has done, I feel like, a fairly good job developing pitchers as of late. I think it's a guy who, in all honesty, has a floor as a reliever. You see that frame, you know what he can do. I think they're going to do a great job developing him. I think it's a great pick and a great fit. That just feels like a Padres pick.
Yeah, young kid who gets to stay out on the West Coast. I think that's really big. I think that probably plays into some things here. Additionally, too, Schoolcraft is a guy who, as much as we talk about his pitching, which is very, very advanced in our opinion for his age, he is a guy who can also do it a little bit with the bat. Would love to see San Diego give him at least an opportunity to swing the bat early on here. Again, Schoolcraft is a guy who we have been on all season long. It is hard to be as talented as this guy at 6'8", when you have a chance to watch more video on him than they showed on the MLB Draft live show here, I highly recommend it. The motion is fluid. The motion is repeatable. For somebody at 6'8", you're not supposed to be able to repeat your mechanics the way that he does. It is impeccable watching him do it with those long limbs.
Something I wanted to bring up is we're seeing not a lot of college outfielders go. Brendan Summerhill, Jace Lavalette. You're seeing Devin Taylor still on the board, Max Blue. You're seeing a lot of college outfielders fall down the board a little bit. So interested to see how far they're going to fall. We might see a string of them in a row right here coming soon. But it looks like a lot of teams are opting to go with prep shortstops and maybe thinking they can transition to an outfielder role perhaps, because usually those guys are a lot more moldable than a college outfielder.
100%. I think it's moldability and I think it's upside. You don't know what you don't know. And that's a real fun thing to say because MLB teams live and die by that thought process, right? Again, we had Schoolcraft ranked 11th on our board. He gets taken 25th overall here. The fit seems really, really good. I am expecting to see some of these college outfielders get off the board. 2 more picks here till we move into compensation round A. That's going to be the Philadelphia Phillies and the Cleveland Guardians. Again, we're at the point where it's hard for me to sit here and speculate. Any names that you really like here for the Phillies?
Off the top of my head, there's still the Gage Wood seems like a really fun pick right here. If they want to go under slot, there's 3 pitchers I wanted to bring up right now who are under slot guys. Anthony Eisen out of LSU, J.B. Middleton, Southern Miss, Root, Arkansas, 3 guys who have pitched a lot of college baseball who could be under slot picks for the next couple picks. And then you have the high potential guys. Got your guy Quentin Young, Ryan. That could be a very fun pick here for the Phillies. I think that would be a great fit.
Yeah, I'm very. This would be very interesting. So also, the first pick, technically speaking, is not going to be a comp round A pick after the Guardians pick. For any of you who can see the screen right now, as you all should be able to, it's actually a PPI pick, so prospect promotion incentive, due to Bobby Witt Jr. finishing in the top 3 of MVP voting last year. The Kansas City Royals were afforded the 28th overall selection in this draft. Absolutely loving it. It's going to be really fun to see where they go with that pick once we get there.
The more I'm thinking Quentin Young here, the more I'm loving Quentin Young here to the Phillies. That's all I'm saying.
Listen, I think whoever, again, there's a lot. This is part of baseball evaluation. We're in the realm here where our big board tells us who we think the steals are, right? Wahiva Aloy, not off the board yet. Alex Lodis, Jake Bauer, Brendan Summerhill, Quentin Young. We're at the 26th overall pick. Gage Wood, Caden Bodine, Riley Quick. These are all guys that we have in this area and expect to see off the board sooner than later due to their
Caden
talent.
Bodine could be a really, really fun pick right here as a potential JT Realmuto replacement going forward. I love the thought of Caden Bodine and JT Realmuto spring training together. Just that makes me happy to think about.
100%. Excuse me. Yawning in what has not been a boring draft in the slightest. In a long weekend for me, people. It's just what it is. Yeah, interested to see how this continues, guys. This guy right now on the screen for the Phillies, for this being a 26th overall pick, he looks like he's so stressed they have the number 1 overall pick. He's really worried. It's going to be excited. Here's Manfred. Oh, Jackson!
Gage Wood.
Hammers
I
it.
love the pick.
Gage Wood! All right, Jackson. Tell the people about Gage.
Gage Wood is another guy who I feel like I've said a lot this draft, has a very fun fastball profile, has a little bit of cut right action. This is a guy who it took him a while to find his role at Arkansas. His first year had problems with walks. His second year had problems with I think he gave up a lot of home runs, battling between bullpen and starting role. But in the College World Series against Murray State, we saw what Gage Wood could be. Struck out 19 guys, I believe had a no hitter. The fastball is electric. The curveball is the main secondary pitch. I like that pitch. Need some other room to work as if you want to make him a starter, but I think he can be a reliever at the big league level really soon. MLB.com grades out his fastball at a 70. I agree with that 100%. His lower slot makes his fastball, which I believe 95, 96, 97. It plays like it's 100, 101 at the top of the zone sometimes. He made a lot of SEC bats, made a lot of really good bats. Very silly, just throwing fastballs right at him.
Yeah, 100%. One of the best overall fastballs in this entire draft. He is the type of guy who I expect to see him in a major league uniform relatively quick. When the curveball is not quote unquote popping out of his hand, it is considered one of the best 1-2 pitches in this entire draft. Wood is the type of guy who he has the ability to be a starter, especially if they can help him find 1 to 2 more secondary pitches that can play in order to keep offenses off balance. However, fastball, curveball for this guy is more than good enough, in my opinion, to be in a major league bullpen very quickly. I could see the Phillies looking at this pick as an opportunity for them to help bolster their bullpen very quickly over the next, potentially this year and the following year. Another guy who's in the running to be the first person wearing a major league uniform in this draft class.
Absolutely. Fun fact about him was 63% fastball this year, yet that pitch registered a 46% whiff rate. You do not see arms in the SEC often who were just pumping fastballs and getting whiff numbers like that. Him and Liam Doyle were both doing it this year, but Gage Wood is a very special arm with a very special fastball profile.
All right, I'm gonna go out on a limb on this one. One of the best pitching factories in all of Major League Baseball. I would be over the moon to see them take Mr. Jack Bauer right here at number 27. The one thing they pride themselves in is guys with extension. I bet you they think they can help him get more extension and make this 102 play unbearably hard against high-level hitting.
I'm going to go under slot here with my prediction. Zach Root, the Arkansas lefty, back-to-back Arkansas pitchers, my prediction. Another 6'2 lefty, big curveball. I agree with the pitching factor idea, but Zach Root's my prediction here.
You're going to go Zach Root over your boy Riley Quick right here?
You
got to think about it, huh?
Quick. I love Riley Quick, but my
here we go.
Here is gonna be pitcher.
Whoa! They went Laviolette.
Wow, that is a flashy pick from a team that does not make flashy picks often.
Say that again?
A flashy pick from a team that does not make those often.
Yeah. So Laviolette, obviously, as many of you watching may already know, was considered to be coming or after last year's draft. Jace Laviolette and Ethan Holiday were considered at the time the consensus 1 and 2 picks. Texas A&M as a program had a very, very difficult season in 2025. His stock fell tremendously. We are talking about a guy in Laviolette who has one of the highest raw power grades in this entire draft. The biggest knock on Laviolette is, and you're seeing this a lot if you haven't already noticed while you're watching the highlights they're showing on your draft feed, he has a very, very tall and stiff-looking start to his swing. But boy, when he barrels it up, does it go far? Very interested to see how the Guardians develop Laviolette as he moves towards the major league level.
Agreed. This guy's 6'6", 230, 65 power grade. He was 6'6", 230 playing a very good defensive center field. You do not see that happen too often. He's a very fun player. Just a big body, hits the ball hard, hits the ball far. The hit tool graded out just a 45, slightly below average. He could potentially stick at center field with that body type, which again, that is just unreal to think about. Laviolette has potential to be a 30 homer, 20 stolen base guy if the potential fulfills itself. We still are not sure if it will, but
Yeah, and when I look at the Cleveland Guardians system and I think through this pick, one of the things that I find very funny here is the Guardians have another very large or overall large left-handed swinger at the top of their farm system who is an outfielder, 23-year-old Chase DeLauter. Was drafted out of high school. However, I feel as if the Guardians think they've done a good job with DeLauter, and I'm wondering if their ability to develop him has really helped them make this pick from an overall standpoint, as DeLauter is a similar type guy with elite raw power and a large frame.
who did Kansas City just go with?
Kansas City just went with right-hander Josh Hammond. Hammond is a two-way player, currently listed as a shortstop. We actually have Hammond ranked specifically in our draft board. He's ranked at number 38. We have him ranked as a right-handed pitcher. We believe that's where he fits. Very nice swing, can absolutely rake. However, his stuff on the mound is very, very polished comparatively to, I think, what it's given credit for. He can ride it up in the 90s. You are seeing them talk about the comparison to Austin Riley right now on the broadcast. I don't mind it. They've got him listed as a shortstop. Maybe I'm wrong. Maybe he does end up profiling out as a position player. Kansas City, they've done some work of late when it comes to high school picks. I don't mind this one for them at all.
Fun fact about Hammond, his father is Joey Hammond and is the head baseball coach at High Point University. For those who don't know, High Point is a mid-major powerhouse year in and year out. So this is a guy who grew up around the baseball field. When we watched Hammond, we thought he might stick as a pitcher, but I think people are thinking he most likely might stick as an infielder. Shortstop as of right now. Has a big arm, 65 grade arm. Could potentially stick at shortstop. There's another guy who could play a third base or a center field with that type of arm.
100% will be interesting to see what happens. I am shocked that Wahibo Aloy is still available. No other way to put it at this point.
Absolutely. I think this stretch of picks right here, I feel like we could see a lot of college. All these teams have had picks already. I expect the Orioles to take at least one college arm. My pick is between the two of Quick and Forbes, both likely to go right here in those Orioles picks. Arizona also potential to go.
We can't hear it because commercial. Who'd they take?
Patrick
Who did the
Forbes.
Diamondbacks take?
Patrick Forbes. It just popped up on the
Patrick Forbes is off the board. Another one of Jackson's guys. Jackson, you talked a little bit about him earlier. You got to see Forbes unfortunately slice up your Bucks in a regional. Tell us a little bit more about the right-hander.
Fastball upper 90s, touched 100, was able to live that out through I believe he threw around 100 pitches, was still 96, 97 towards the end of the game. Slider with baby sweeper movement to it. Around 0 IVB, 9 horizontal, gets a lot of swings and misses. But right now, that's all he has in the arsenal. This is a guy who, coming out of high school, was an infielder. Did not start pitching a whole lot till his sophomore year at Louisville. He's still learning how to pitch, and he was just drafted, 28th overall? 28th, 29th overall?
9th overall.
29th overall, and he's still learning how to pitch. He can still get a couple pitches, I think. He's still figuring out how to pitch. And I think once he figures it out and fills everything out, I think this is a guy who has one of the highest upsides in the class.
100%. Listen, we talked about it multiple times today. People have heard me say it multiple times today. A propensity for growth, right? Forbes has gone from not even being a pitcher to now being drafted in the first in compensation A round of the MLB draft, 29th overall. It tells you a lot about the player and the person and the work ethic that goes behind it. The guy's got an arm that you can dream on, again, running it up to 100 miles an hour. He's another guy whose floor, in my opinion, and I know your opinion as well, is a high leverage relief type arm. He has a bunch of arm side run on 100 when he ramps it up there too. I mean, it runs in on righties.
Absolutely. I think this is a guy who's still figuring out how his body moves on the mound, how his pitches moves. I think if Arizona can just
Here we go, Jackson. We've got the Orioles pick. Back-to-back picks for the Baltimore Orioles. Oh, they did it! Caden Bodine to the Baltimore Orioles. He'll be up next week with all the injuries the Baltimore Orioles have had. Flax is going to love this one. He might love everything that they're doing right now. Caden Bodine, he truly might be the best overall pure contact guy in this entire draft, whether people want to hear that or not. Switch hitter who shows elite feel at the plate. The power has always been the question here. He's also arguably, and in our opinion, the best catcher in this entire draft.
I completely agree. This is a guy we've talked about a lot with pitchers having a high floor. I think Bodine is similar to that. He is awesome defensively, steals a lot of strikes, knows how to control a pitching staff. This is a guy who, if he has a 675, 650 OPS throughout his career, can play 10, 15 years just based off the value he can provide as a backup catcher. But I think the bat's going to be more than that. You talked about him being a big contact guy. I think he has more power in the tank. He just needs to learn how to he needs to learn how to use it, needs to learn how to unleash it. I love Bodine a lot. Can steal strikes, knows how to control the pitching staff.
100% Bodine. We had him ranked 25th on our board. He goes number 30 overall to the Baltimore Orioles. Excited to see what they do with this next pick. Flax has talked a lot about in the past how Elias does not normally take arms high. I could definitely see this being an arm for them. But I don't know. Maybe just steal Wahiva Aloy while we're hanging out at this point.
A couple pitchers. I mentioned Root. Got Riley Quick still there. A couple high school arms. Jack Bauer, like you said. Aaron Watson, 6'5", 205 from Florida. Potentially could go here if I was shocked if they didn't go arm, but I think it's Orioles getting an arm right here. Riley Quick is my prediction and my hope.
I know how much you love Riley Quick. I'm going on the train of saying Wahiva Aloy until somebody takes the guy, because this is getting ridiculous. Here we go. Manfred, tell us more. Come on! Ah! This is Flax's dream. Flax is celebrating his anniversary with his wonderful wife, and his Baltimore Orioles are taking everybody he could ever want them to take at the current moment.
This is crazy.
What a start to this draft, in my opinion, for the Baltimore Orioles. They go Ike Irish, Caden Bodine, and Wahiva Aloy. 3 excellent college bats. 3 guys who have the propensity to play multiple different positions across the diamond. We do expect Irish to be more of an outfield, first base, or DH. Bodine, obviously an elite catcher. And Wahiva Aloy is a large-bodied shortstop who we could see potentially slotting in as a power-hitting second baseman or third baseman down the line. The Orioles here just kind of sticking with their plan, which is college bats, college bats, college bats, and more college bats.
Aloy, obviously the Golden Spikes winner this year. The reason he fell, for people who are wondering, a little bit more swing and miss, had trouble with breaking pitches a little bit. From what I've seen with Aloy, I think he is a very smart player. I think the Orioles have done a great job developing bats the past couple years. I think this is the perfect place for him to go, maybe a slight approach change. The pop is absolutely off the charts. I think if the Orioles take care of this properly, this is a 20, 25, 30 homer guy who can play second, third, potentially even a first baseman, corner outfielder, a lot of different options you can go with Aloy.
Let's stay hot here, Jackson. Where do the Brewers go? Where do the Brewers go?
I was thinking, I have no idea. Who do they go with their first pick?
Let's look, because at this point we are far enough in the draft where even I don't remember every pick. Andrew Fisher. So they saved some money with Andrew Fisher.
If they save money with Fisher, I think they're going to turn around here Brendan Summerhill.
Okay. Here we go.
Brendan Summerhill or
Slater
Jack
DeBurn.
Bauer. Who?
Oh, they go Brady Ebel. the third gentleman from Corona High School in California off the board. Ebel. Father played at the big league level. A lot of pedigree there. And this is exactly what you were getting at. They saved, in my opinion, a little bit of money on Andrew Fisher, who is still a very high upside player, in order to more than likely pull Ebel away from his college commitment with a slightly over slot dollar amount here. Excited to see what happens. I know a lot of people love Ebel's left-handed swing. Listen, the upside, as always, is very high on this high school shortstop.
Yeah, he's the lowest, I believe the lowest MLB rated player to go so far, 64 on their big board. But I think the Brewers like him a lot. From what I've seen, he's performed very well against higher leverage or higher competition. Corona High School obviously has had 3 guys go. I think he was playing in a lot of summer ball circuits and performed very well against higher talented pitchers, which a lot of times you won't see high school arms face a lot of those, or high school bats face a lot of those guys. So I think that's a fun pick from the Brewers. Maybe one of the more developed high school bats we're going to see in terms of who he's faced so far.
100%. All right, I'm looking for a Quentin Young type pick right here for Boston.
I'm zeroing in on Quentin Young to the Tigers.
Ooh, at 34.
That's a fun fit.
That's a fun fit. Delman played there, right? If I remember,
Yes.
and the Meat Hook played there. Dimitri also played.
That's a fun fit.
Detroit. Oh, the Meat Hook is one of the greatest nicknames to ever exist in Major League Baseball. I'm glad he played for the Washington Nationals, and I got to experience that growing up. Dimitri Young hit many a home run that I enjoyed watching. We've been high on Quentin Young for a long time. Again, 6'6". He's a guy right now who is the best athlete on his team playing shortstop. And I'll shut up now because here's Rob Manfred.
Riley quick. Let's go.
Good day. Another Tennessee Volunteer off the board. Dude, I was not expecting this one, though. I'm not going to pretend like you were either.
I haven't seen it yet. Who was it?
Marcus Phillips out of the University of Tennessee. Did you have to scout him at all out of curiosity at ETSU? Was he part of your scout?
I believe so. I believe I scouted everyone except Liam Doyle because I was not doing that. But Phillips rated 61 on the board, 65 grade fastball, has touched 100, 96, 98. I think this is a similar-ish arm to a Patrick Forbes, a guy who throws hard, big body, 6'4", 250. A big dude, has a good changeup, decent little slider. The control has been an issue, has been hit a little bit, but Phillips has a very high ceiling. And I think he's a guy who, in my opinion, I think he's going to end up as a reliever. I hope he ends up being a starter, obviously, but I think he's going to end up being a reliever with that fastball profile.
I like it. I think Phillips, from an overall standpoint, he's another one of those guys to me that is a actually higher floor type player, regardless of people talking about him, due to the fact that he has 2 solid pitches. Boston has of late had the ability to develop some arms. I just think for them it really needs to be the college arms. They have not shot well when it comes to high school pitching. So this makes a lot of sense for me here. I love the slider comparison to Scott Barlow that they're currently showing for him. I wanna continue to move gears here. I want to see some risk here for Detroit, right? And I think this is what it is. I love the Quentin Young factor here. Detroit also had Jackson Jobe so far, though he is hurt and getting surgery, if I remember correctly at this point. Jake Bauer is a guy that I don't think they're afraid to touch. Also, if we allow Jake Bauer to move to 35 and the Mariners go with that, I mean, dear Lord, we're giving him another young arm that throws 102 potentially. Just another guy we're to keep talking about. Here is Manfred as the draft is speeding up. Jackson, do we have anything on Oliveto?
Let's see if we got anything on Oliveto.
Another guy we are less familiar with here. This guy is ranked 219. Let's explain what that tells us, guys. I don't know that people were expecting this guy to come out, is a lot of times what we see in these scenarios. Any money savings that Detroit would have gotten with their first overall pick, which let's go ahead and take a look at that one more time here on our board. So Jordan Yost and Oliveto, this is them really, really going for it and taking two guys that they think they see more upside than everybody else is what this comes down to for me.
I'm not sure it could be a money-saving situation. He's committed to Yale, so I'm not sure if, because right now a lot of teams are having to factor in NIL commitments. Would not be surprised if he had a big NIL commitment to Yale. But Oliveto's 6'3", 185, catcher from New York. I cannot pronounce the town that it is from, but he is from New York. A solid hitting left-handed catcher. I think from what I'm reading on, has a more powerful swing. Could project as a big power bat. Not sure. People are not sure if he can stick at catcher or not yet. With that frame, I'm guessing a first base, right field, if the catching position ends up not working out.
Listen, man, being ranked 219 and then all of a sudden going 34th overall, that's a hell of a feat. I totally agree with you that this has a lot to do with what do you need to do to sign this kid away that you really like. I think Detroit feels like they have something here. Can't blame them for going for it, and I'm all about that at the end of the day. The Tigers are not here to take who you think they're supposed to take. They're going to take who they expect is the right guy for their organization. I love that, man. Nothing wrong with it at all. Seattle here, please take Jake Bauer. I don't ask for much in life. I just want to see you guys develop Jake Bauer. So that would be sick. Let's take a look here at who Seattle went with with their first overall pick. Oh, Kate Anderson fell to him. Surprise, surprise, Manfred.
Zach Root's my prediction here.
Luke Stevenson. We had him ranked 34th overall on our board. Stevenson is one of those guys who is also up there with Caden Bodine as one of the best catchers in the overall draft. There are multiple people who do believe that Stevenson is actually a better overall defender than Bodine, as he sports one of the best arms behind the plate in all of college baseball. The Tar Heel has put up some good numbers over the last few years. Left-handed bat. I like what they did here. I don't mind it. Again, I was hoping they'd go a little off the map here on a guy you can truly dream on. But Seattle sees something here in Stevenson as a high power guy, so we'll see what happens for the Mariners.
Yeah, he's a guy who throws it well behind the plate. Is more of a power-geared bat compared to Bodine, who's more of a contact-geared bat, which plays better for Stevenson's game if catching does not end up working out. If that power can stick, that's a first base DH type guy. But from everything I've read, he's done a good job defensively catching. At North Carolina, has improved a lot since he has been there. Yeah, very great catcher in Luke Stevenson.
100%. This is a pop over contact type guy. We have seen Seattle go this route with catchers in the past, not to open up potentially old wounds for Seattle Mariners fans, but Mike Zunino, when I was growing up, was supposed to be something very special as a pop over contact guy. He did have a couple different seasons at the major league level where he went over 20 home runs, but Stevenson is a guy who, in my opinion, will stick behind the plate. Very solid for North Carolina there last year. Will be interesting to see how this one pans out for them, a guy that they could definitely develop. Moving right along here to the Minnesota Twins, a lot of talent still left on the board. A lot of names I'm surprised haven't come off. This is just making me think that there are a couple different guys who the money that needed to be spent to keep them from going to college was a lot more than I thought. Rob Manfred is back. All right, Jackson, go talk about your boy. The Minnesota Twins just got a dog. They also got their new starting left tackle.
Minnesota Vikings are currently fired up about this pick. Riley Quick, 6'6", 255, 5-pitch guy, 4-seam sinker, slider, changeup, and with a show me cutter as well. The fastball and the slider have been the two best pitches. Like I said, he was a 4-star offensive tackle coming out. My favorite part about that is if you watch any football, those offensive tackles have to know how to move. Riley Quick, from everything I've seen, is very comfortable in his body and is more of a pitcher than a thrower. The 5-pitch guy shows me he has high pitch ability, knows how to pitch. I love Riley Quick. I think he can profile as a 2-3 almond rotation who can eat up 180, 200 innings a year. Has stayed pretty healthy throughout his career. I really love Riley Quick.
This is a big one for the Baseball and Stitch team. We had Riley Quick ranked 24 overall on our big board. MLB.com had Riley Quick ranked at 38th. We felt that to be quite low for a guy that has such good pitch ability. They are showing on the screen too, and I know it's something Jackson didn't mention but has brought up in the past. He's a guy who really does a great job getting ground balls on a regular basis. My comp to him with his arsenal specifically is a guy who's out there throwing very well for Toronto this year in Chris Bassett. Quick is a guy who has 2 pitches that go left, 2 pitches that go right, and a pitch that will go right down the middle, high in the zone as needed, that he can pump up to 97 to 98. The frame makes you dream even more on Quick. Real quick before the Orioles come out here, this is a very, very interesting pick here at number 37. This is the pick the Orioles just acquired last week from the Tampa Bay Rays for Brian Baker, who had thrown very well from them this year, and Tampa Bay wanting to bolster their bullpen. We are going to quickly find out who the Orioles are getting out of that trade. Rob Manford, take it away. And there it is. The Baltimore Orioles have taken their high-end, high-upside outfielder, position player, wherever you want him to be put. The Orioles just took the guy that we were waiting for them to take with 4 picks so far in the first 37 picks.
Pitchers.
37 picks. They take Slater DeBron. Excellent left-handed swing. Very, very athletic. Can definitely play across the field. He's another guy, when you look at his overall comps, he reminds me and plays the way of a Steele Hall, who they were earlier as a right-hander comparing him to one Trey Turner. That's the type of player and explosiveness that they see in DeBron. Very excited to see what happens to him. I want to go back to Jackson's point that he just made. We sat here with Evan Flax, who is the other portion of this podcast. He talked to us all day before the draft and said, if you think the Orioles are taking a pitcher, you're probably wrong, because it is not how they draft. It is not how Mike Elias drafts. And sure enough, when we pull up the Baltimore Orioles to show you all of their picks, not a single pitcher in their first 4 picks through the first 37 picks of this draft. I'm pretty over the moon with what the Orioles just did here. I love their draft so far, and I'm not surprised I love it.
Slater DeBron, a guy's 65 run tool, and has been a great defensive center fielder, and a lot of people think he can likely stick there, which is rare to see from those high school guys you were drafting. Smaller guy, just 5'10", $187. Has drawn comparisons from last year's Slade Caldwell yet again, another prep outfielder who was a lot smaller. I think that's a great pick by the Orioles. This is a guy who can potentially hit 280, 300, stick him in the 7 and the 8 hole, and play great defensive center field, seal 25, 30 bags.
Totally agree. We're going to be hanging out with you guys for 3 more picks here to what, technically speaking, finishes the first round of the MLB draft. That'll be 38, the New York Mets, 39, the New York Yankees, and of course, at number 40, because they need so many more players, the Los Angeles Dodgers. Guys, thank you so much for spending a ton of time with us today. This is the longest live stream we've done in the history of Baseball Unstitched. We would love if you hung around and supported our content. We generally are posting on X, Instagram, and TikTok. Our long forum is a podcast that drops every single Tuesday morning, of which this week we're going to be recapping the top 10 to 15 picks, depending on the time frame of which that takes us. And also, we're going to talk a little bit more about what the Baltimore Orioles did with their trade of Brian Baker, getting a comp round pick that they got to use just now, aka a week later. Again, thank you so much for the support. We appreciate you guys hanging out with us. Hit that like, follow, or subscribe button. But let's see what the New York Mets do here. Again, there is a lot of upside left on this board, and I love it. It's the Major League Baseball draft. For any of you who are like, yeah, Ryan, there's always upside on these boards. Look, you're not wrong. But there's upside within our top 30 still on our draft, our big board. If you didn't have a chance to check out our big board, we have done a couple different threads on it that show you our top 30 players. Don't be afraid to take a look. The guys left on our top 30 big board, now that a couple have come off the board, are Alex Lodice, Jake Bauer, Brendan Summerhill, Quentin Young, Max Ballou, and that'll be it. So we are 37 picks in, and we only got 4 guys left on our top 30 of this big board with the New York Mets on the clock. Anybody specifically you want to see here, Jackson?
My prediction is Clemson outfielder Cam Cannarella. I feel like that's a very fun fit. I like Cannarella a lot. Great defensive outfielder. Had some big moments as a Clemson Tiger as well.
Yeah, I'm really happy here to say that I think somebody needs to go ahead and grab Summerhill. I guess I'm not sure what people aren't liking about him.
He had an injury this year in the middle of the season and missed a little bit of time. And the power wasn't as great. I love Summerhill, but if I had to guess, those are 2 reasons off the top of my head.
So my favorite part of that is, do you remember when nobody wanted to take Weatherholt?
Oh, I remember.
Yeah, as a Cardinals fan, I know you do. And listen, guys, we're talking about a very different overall player. Weatherholt was in the talks to be a number 1 overall pick last year. Last year, yeah, not going crazy.
Yeah, last year.
But he did have chronic hamstring injuries, which helped him slide down the board a little bit. Surprise Summerhill. Rob Manfred. Mitch Voigt has sprinted up boards since the summer seasons have started. Not surprised to hear this name. This is a guy with a ton of tools, a legitimate, potentially two-way player here out of Michigan. It'll be really, really fun to see what the Mets think they can get out of Voigt.
Absolutely. This is a guy whose first 2 years, third baseman, reliever, last year first baseman / right fielder, and a weekend starter. He can play a lot of different positions, including pitcher. If I had to bet right now, I'm guessing most likely sticks as a hitter. I think that's what most people are projecting as well, but could also stick as a pitcher as well. I think Voigt's a very good player, can play a bunch of different positions. The power has graded out pretty decently for him and plays a good all-around. I think he's a potential utility guy who's 15, 20, 25 homer pop.
This is where I love how we scout and how we grade players out. You're talking about a guy who by MLB.com was ranked 63rd overall. However, he graded out as a 55 hit tool, a 50 power tool, a 60 run tool, a 60 arm, and a 50 fielding grade, which basically says he has 3 tools that are either above average or potentially over plus. Hard to believe that anybody could rank him at 63 in this scenario. Voigt, again, has been a fast riser over the last few weeks. Not surprised to see the Mets take him here. I like the play, man. I love the two-way guys out of college getting opportunities. I think it's excellent for the sport. I do, at the end of the day, agree with you. I have the expectation that he probably ends up being just the bat. But hey, I'm waiting for the age of the true super utility guy who plays second for 8-9 innings and then comes in as a high leverage reliever because he's got the stuff. Will that ever happen anytime soon? I don't know. But acting like we're not moving towards something like that being possible with Ohtani opening games right now, I think would be ridiculous for me not to speculate it could happen.
Right here with the Yankees, my two are two high school guys, Jack Bauer, Quentin Young. I think those are both.
I'm going to keep saying them too until they get drafted. I'm going to say them once we're off the live stream, just in case anybody's curious. But at this point, hold on. At this point, I never want to see people fall. But my Nats are coming back around, and I'll take either of those guys. So let's get to it.
Let's do it.
I love it, dude. I love it. We're only 18 picks away. Like I love those names at this point. If nobody else wants them, we're sure as hell going to take them. That's just my opinion. Not that I control anything my Washington Nationals do.
Hey, potential underslot with the first pick could turn around and overslot that second pick.
Absolutely. I love the Quentin Young call out. I just won't stop loving it. New York loves the power bat. This fits so well, dude. 6'6" Quentin Young protecting Aaron Judge even more? Stop it. That's something to dream on if you're a Yankees fan. I'm just throwing it out there. Gonna let it go into the universe. But they could also just leave him till 56 and my Nats could take him. So we'll see what happens here. Excited to see what the Yankees do. Always something creative from Cashman, sometimes overly creative, something he'd even probably tell you himself. But it'll be fun to see who the Yankees take here at number 39 as we get close to rounding out the first full round of the MLB draft. Jackson, anything on the Dodgers at 40? Do we think they get a little bit slippery, or do we think they're gonna go? I mean, they're a team who would go a Summerhill because they think everybody's hilarious for caring about the injury. That's something we've seen the Dodgers do in the past.
Absolutely, I love the Dodgers' idea of potentially getting a fun arm. I think Anthony Ianson, it would be a very fun player. Jack Bauer, Aaron Watson, and Matthew Fisher, 3 high school arms could also be options here as well.
Man, if we could go Quentin Young, Summerhill, or Jack Bauer here over these next 2 picks, 2 of them, just to round out our board out of the top 40, only missing 2 guys, that'd be fun. Just for the first year of baseball and Stitch doing this. Again, guys, if you do want to see our top 30 big board, it's on Twitter at the current moment. We did also, over the last 3 weeks, put out a multitude of content on this big board. Take a look when you get an opportunity. Again, really appreciate you guys spending, at this point, 3 hours with us. There is a ton left to do tonight in this draft. Get excited. We are as well. The Yankees are on the clock.
I didn't know if the Yankees pick was in yet or not. I was about to ask.
Dax Kirby. Another guy we are less familiar with on the podcast. Dax Kirby, Kilby. Dax Kilby did not make our top 30 board. He's another guy. He's ranked currently 62 by MLB.com. Jackson, what do you got for us on Kilby?
High school shortstop, 6'2", 190, committed to Clemson, is from Georgia. Grades out as a 55 hit, 50 power, 55 run, and 50 arm. From what I'm seeing, is a left-handed bat, very mature approach to the plate, and doesn't swing outside the strike zone a lot. I feel like that's a very fun Yankees pick. As a guy who, in theory, with that kind of approach, could hit in front of Judge very nicely or protect him in some sort of way. Potentially an underslot guy there just a little bit. I think that's a good pick by the Yankees.
Yeah, listen, this tracks, right? We've seen the Yankees take Lombard of recent. I think this is another high upside shortstop, right? We've talked about it a lot today again, and we're going to reiterate it. Shortstop at the high school level truly just means you're generally, shortstop or center field, are your best athlete on the field. That's what Dax has shown. He obviously has a very good left-handed swing. Excited to see what the Yankees do with him. We're on a little bit of a run here when it comes to some of these guys who are less known, a little bit lower on most boards. Excited to see where the Dodgers go before we head off for the evening. Jackson, one more time. Who do we take here? I'm going to go Max Ballou.
Ooh, I think that's a fun pick. I'm going for the last prediction of the night. Give me a sec here. I'm going Aaron Watson from Trinity Christian, 6'5", 205 righty from out of high school.
I love it. I mean, listen, if I'm going to high school arm here, you already know the name I'm going to spit out. But I like your prediction. That does sound like something the Dodgers would do. I can't fight you there, guys. So our guys we have left available on this board, there are multiple of them. We're going to make sure you know these names for when they do come up later. Golden Spikes finalist Alex Lodice. We have him ranked number 16 on our big board out of Florida. Florida State. Am I going crazy, Jackson?
Florida State.
Thank you. I sometimes am going crazy, ladies and gentlemen. That's part of it. Lodice has some of the best pop in the entire draft. Way more range and the ability to stick at shortstop, though he probably ends up moving over, in most people's eyes, to third base. Slightly undersized. Very surprised that Lodice is so low on people's boards. Excited to see where he goes. Jack Bauer, a left-hander out of high school, or prep left-hander out of California. Bauer, hardest throwing lefty we've ever seen out of high school, touching 102 this year. He's generally sitting mid to upper nines. He's the type of guy who has an elite fastball you can dream on, and we think there's a little bit more extension for him to come, which could really help him in the long run. Brendan Summerhill is an outfielder out of Arizona. Yeah?
Yes, Arizona.
Dude, this is where I get it bad. You know that. Another sweet swing. Summerhill has dealt with some injuries, as already stated, which has a lot to do with his fall here. The Dodgers are a team who is never scared to take a guy with an injury history. Wouldn't be surprised to see that pick here. Quentin Young. Again, talked a lot about him today. Right-hander, some of the best pop in the draft. And finally, Max Ballou. But, Manfred, take us away.
Great pick. Great pick.
All right, Jackson, take us home with Zach Root.
As I believe the highest graded curveball in the class, 60 grade curveball. Arkansas's ace all year transfer over from Eastern Carolina. Zach Root just knows how to pitch. There's no better way to say it than that. Pitched a lot of big games throughout his career and always pitched effective. Knows how to go deep into games. Fastball, curveball, the main two. Also shows a cutter and a changeup as well. High control guy. Knows how to pitch. No better way I can say it than that. I love that pick by the Dodgers. They're an organization who knows how to develop stuff. So they're taking guys who know how to pitch and hoping that it can develop better stuff out of them. He has the curveball, maybe making that changeup a little bit better, making this slider a little bit better. Potentially what they're thinking there.
As the Dodgers love them, he knows how to spin the baseball already, and they believe that they can maximize that overall capability. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us through the first full round of the MLB draft today. We really appreciate you. Again, this is Baseball Unstitched. If you guys haven't already hit that follow button, make sure you do. We'd love to have you as part of the team. We are dropping content every single Tuesday where we drop our podcast in the morning. Also content on Twitter, Instagram, and TikTok. I'm Ryan, that's Jackson, and the guy who left us early for his anniversary is Evan. We're here all the time to bring you the best baseball content we possibly can. Past that, I do want to take a look real quick here and see. Let me double check here. All right, guys, make sure if you're leaving us and still looking for some other place to watch draft content, our guys over at Inside the Diamond are currently running their own live show. Make sure you go over and say hi to Ethan and Toby. Tell them the Baseball and Stitch crew sent you guys. But past that, again, enjoy the rest of the draft today, and we'll see you guys soon, hopefully. Later.
Later.